'cause day and night, the lonely stoner seems to free his mind at night. He's all alone through the day and night. The lonely loner seems to free his mind at night. At night.
So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wiser and I'm older. All this time I was finding myself and I didn't know I was lost.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance to go dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Let's have some fun, this beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Let's have some fun, this beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Let's play a love game, play a love game. Do you want love or you want fame? Are you in the game? No, the love game.
I get knocked out, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked out, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked out, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked out, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Let's have some fun, this beat is sick. I wanna take a ride on your disco stick. Don't think too much, just bust that kick. I wanna take a ride on your disco
I
stick.
get knocked out, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked out, but I get up again.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
I wanna get numb and forget where I'm from. Just looking in your eyes, like looking at the sun. I feel like you're the moon, I feel like I'm the one. I wanna get numb, I wanna get numb.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, ricochet. You take your aim. Far away.
I don't wanna know if you're playing me, keep it on the low. 'Cause my heart can't take it anymore. And if you're creeping, please don't let it show. Oh baby, I don't wanna know.
Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am
Damn right, he been sober. I'm a smoker. I don't want drink. I take off my water. Who can the sober? All I want, what we want. Just be honest. Damn right, he been sober.
I need something you prove, something stronger than I'm used to. Yeah, I've been pulling 92 hard and feel like nothing's gonna cut it. That's the hard truth. When I told her, I said, yeah, yeah. Should've got time to come and get me. Yeah, yeah. I got so caught up, got you told me. Yeah, yeah. Could be my girl, just be the best for me. Yeah, yeah. Next thing I knew, yeah, I need something you prove. Oh, I need something you prove. Next thing I knew, yeah, I need something you prove. Oh, I need something you prove.
see no changes. Wake up in the morning and I ask myself, it's like worth living, should I blast myself? I'm tired of being poor, need work some black. My stomach hurts, so I'm looking for a birth to snatch. Cops give a damn about a Negro. Pull a trigger, kill a nigga, he's a hero. Get it back to the kids, to the hell, kid. One less up your mouth on the railroad.
Damn if I do give a damn what people say. No deal, and I need this shit they want from me. I just wanna say that I'm loving
What you know about us, I got what you need. Looking for the story, and what you want, you get what you please. We about to get it on, take off the drawers. It's just you and me, you know what I be doing. I'm about to go wrong, cause I like what I see.
California knows how to party. California knows how to party. In the city of LA, in the city of blue lights, in the city of Compton, we keep it rocking, we keep it rocking.
I feel bonita.
Push me and then just touch me till I can get my satisfaction.
Push me and then just touch me till I can get my satisfaction.
But baby, you hardly even know when I try to show you. Song is meant to keep you doing what you're supposed to. Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now.
That girl is a real crowd, please. Small world, all her friends know of me. Young bull living like an old keys. Quick release the cash, watch it fall slowly.
Waking up too early, maybe we could sleep. Make you banana pancakes, pretend like it's the weekend now.
Smoke in the air, binge drink.
Look.
Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish, and motherfuckers act like they forgot about Dre. So what do you say to somebody you hate? Or anyone trying to bring trouble your way? One of his old things gonna bloody your way? Just study your tape of NWA. One day I was walking by with a Walkman on when I caught a guy, give me an awkward eye. Strangled him off in the parking lot with his cork and eye.
Stay in my mind, think about you all the time. Got to get to know you well. If you kiss, then I will tell you. Stay in my mind, think about you all the time. Got to get to know you well. If you kiss, then I will tell.
I took the walk to Poland. I took the walk to Poland.
Baby, I'm forever. You make me feel like I'm living a teenage dream. The way you turn me on, I can't sleep. Let's run away and don't ever look back. Don't ever look back.
College educated, she graduated. Any bill she can't front, her parents paid it. The show was far, you the only one with a car out your girlfriends. But being that she's a big fan, of course she made it. Most girls wanna hide the fact of the thrill they chasing, but you just wanna get drunk tonight and fuck someone famous. So I just name a time and a place, and your game for it. Value player, hotel room, meet you there.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. So darling, darling,
Baby girl, you know what I want. Let me do it to you, do it to you. Let me do you like Baby girl, you know what I want. Let me do it to you, do it to you. Let me do you like
so darling, darling, stand by me, oh, stand
award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Do you still want me? Can I be honest? I still want your hands up on. Baby, if you want me, you've got to show me love. Words are so easy to say. You've got to show me love. Can I be honest? I still want your hands up on my body. You still make my heart beat fast. Ferrari with me in the wave, but in the morning I need you to hold on. Maybe there's not so far away. Although I should be the one to say we all make mistakes. Take me and hold on. Tell me that you need to stay. 'Cause I know it's meant to be someone. Used to be someone.
I can buy myself flowers, write my name in sand, talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand.
When I get older, I will be stronger. They'll call me freedom, just like a waving flag. And then it goes back, and then it goes back, and then it goes back. Oh,
I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my head. Yeah, I can love me better than you can.
Y'all already know who I am. My name's Topher.
Cause I'm a monster.
I know you're tired of loving with nobody to love. Nobody. 'Cause grab somebody, don't live in this party with nobody to love. Nobody.
And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills, where the landslide brought me down. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes older, children get older, and I'm getting older too.
Then somebody said to me, nigga, why you babysitting? Only 2 or 3 shots. I'ma show you how to turn it up a notch. First you get a swimming pool full of liquor, then you dive in it. Pool full of liquor, then you dive in it. I wave a few bottles, then I watch them all fly. All the girls wanna play, they watch. I got a swimming pool full of liquor and they dive in it. Pool full of liquor, I'ma dive in it.
love her mom, but it's the season of the sticks. And I saw your mom, she forgot that I existed. And it's half my fault, but I just like to play the victim. I'll drink alcohol till my friends come home for Christmas. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time. And I'll dream you
lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forever?
Shake that. Can you keep up, baby boy? If you lose my breath, bring me noise. If you lose my breath, hit me hard. If you lose my, can you keep up, baby boy? If you lose my breath, bring me noise. If you lose my breath.
I've got another confession to make. I'm your fool. Everyone's got their chains to break, holding you. Were you born to resist or be abused? Is someone getting the best, the best, the best, the best of you?
Keep up, baby boy. If you lose my.
Can we find love again? Is this time? Yeah. Tell me how many more tears will dry till you hit me with can we talk and try love again?
I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this. In a matter of time I spent on some locked up shit in the back of the paddy wagon, cuffs locked on wrist. See my dreams unfold, nightmares come true. It was time to marry the game, and I said, yeah, I do. If you want it, you gotta see it with a clear eye view. Got shorty, she tryna bless me like I said I
When I
do.
met you in the summer, to my heartbeat sound, we fell in love as the leaves turn brown. And we could be together, baby, as long as skies are blue. You act so innocent now, but you lied so soon. When I met you in the summer, when I met you in the summer,
And it became personal with me.
You ready? Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished. When I bought the ass tomorrow, y'all thought it was raining. Flexing on these niggas, I'm like Papa on the spinach. Double M, yeah, that's my team. Rose, the captain, I'm lieutenant. I'm the type can the main captain, grind like I'm broke. That Lambo, my new bitch, she'll ride like my ghost. I'm riding around my city with my hands strapped on my toes. Cause these niggas want me dead, and I gotta make it back home.
I got way too much time to be this hurt. Somebody help, it's getting worse. What do you do with a broken heart? Once a love phase, everything starts.
She wants to touch me, whoa. She wants to love me, whoa. She'll never leave me, whoa.
Don't trust her, never trust her. Won't trust her, won't trust me.
Shush, girl, shut your lips. Do the Helen Keller and talk with your hips. I said, shush, girl, shut your lips. Do the Helen Keller and talk with your hips. I said.
There she goes again, racing through my brain, and I just can't contain. All I know is 10:35, and I can feel your arms around me. Let them drown me. All I know is 10:35, and I'm thinking, God, you found me. That you found me. You got me slipping, stumbling, tripping, stumbling, clumsy 'cause I'm falling in love. You got me slipping, stumbling, sinking, stumbling, clumsy 'cause I'm falling in love.
of 20. I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs have it. That fact that you truly just feel good.
Is honestly the best.
I love Tradecaster.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Just a friendly reminder. Over the past 12 months, how much money did you make day trading using your strategy?
$551,000. That kind of money, it's like you know what you're doing.
Sean knows his stuff. So this is exactly how I did it.
Perfect.
I want everyone to go trade. Go! Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Anything else?
It wasn't pleasant. That was during lunch hours.
Take some pictures.
Now we're up $1,200! We got some action right here. $2,000, $760. If I tell you how I was able to do this, go out and make that money, you make a killing. Can we start getting ourselves in the green somehow? Get it, people! A bot sell man making HUDI $1,000. Ollie with a $327 trade. Boom, guys. $989 profit. $2,600. Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Oh, baby! You guys want to see something good today? We're bringing something good to the house.
Who the fuck you really wanna be with besides me? I mean, it doesn't take much for us to do this shit quietly. I mean, you say I'm obsessed with thick women, and I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, today, it's one of those special days, CPI data day. It's one of those very particular type of days. Those days that you wake up a little more excited than usual. One of those days that you get a little eager. Right now, I just got this warm, fuzzy feeling inside of me. I feel like I'm baking in an oven wrapped up in cheeses like a nice lasagna about to be served to an Italian family. That's how I feel at this moment, team. Mozzarella sliding down my chest. Traders, do you guys have the same feeling that I have? It's fantastic. Let's get ready to go. Let's smash that thumbs on up right now, and let's talk about this day. Let's talk about absolutely everything. Let's make sure every single trader is good to go because it's CPI data time, team. What is Jerome Powell going to do? What is Uncle JP going to be doing in the future here? The S&P 500, got a lot to talk about it. Let's break it on down. Claire, cut the music. We're all set, ready to go here, traders. Man, I get a little jacked up here. I get a little enthusiastic, they like to call it. Okay? So, as we already know, we do have our CPI data going on right now. And with our CPI data, we can see that the S&P 500 just had a very big drop. Now, I want to go over everything so every single person is feeling confident moving forward. So for us to be able to do that, let's kind of go and act as if it's before the CPI data came on out. Let's kind of act as if it's 8 o'clock in the morning and we're getting ready for CPI data. And that's just because I want to kind of give you the excitement of it, and then we can go over the results. So what we have at this moment, it says getting pumped up. Markets came through with a positive session on Wednesday, which was yesterday, with all three major indexes posting gains. It's been a shaky new year for stocks, hot off a strong 2023 as investors get their bearings in anticipation for the potential Federal Reserve rate cuts. All eyes are going to be on the CPI data, which have come on out. So looking ahead, fresh ahead on Thursday's fresh batch of inflation data could end up being a little too hot for market doves to handle. Economists polled by the Dow Jones expect that December CPI to have increased 3.2% year over year. Now, why this is so important is because this is what is going to decide, are we actually going to cut rates? You guys already know, I don't think we're going to be cutting rates as much as people think. They're saying that we are going to have 6 rate cuts in 2024. I think that is insane to even say. I would say we'd be lucky if we get 2. There's part of me that thinks that we might not get any. We will not mostly cut rates until this market turns and until this market starts falling. Because let's think about this. Jerome Powell has a job. What is Jerome Powell's job? His job is to bring down inflation. And if the market is at sky highs, why would we even cut rates to begin with? They would say there's no reason to cut rates. Guys, hey, no reason to cut rates. Markets are up high. Everything's going well. We aren't falling into a recession. Let's just hold rates as high as we possibly can. Bring down inflation as quickly as we can when the market is right next to record highs. Usually they start cutting rates when things start getting ugly and they say, okay, we got to cut rates to bring the market back on up. So I don't think we're cutting rates anytime soon, especially with the S&P 500 at those record highs right now near 480. New beginning. A little heads on up. Who's ready for a new era in the cryptocurrency world? The Security Exchange Commission on Wednesday, after a false alarm on Tuesday, approved changes to rules that will allow creation of Bitcoin on an ETF. That's going to be very exciting. That's going to be a lot of fun. The move was long expected and gives credibility to an asset that has been dismissed by many traditional financial world, including JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon. So what we have here at this time, traders, we got to break this thing on down. You guys can see right here, consumer prices rose 0.3% in December, higher than expected, pushing the annual rate to 3.4%. Prices that consumers pay for a variety of goods and services rose more than expected in December, according to the Labor Department measure on Thursday that shows inflation still holding a grip on the U.S. economy. The Consumer Price Index increased 0.3% for the month, higher than the 0.2% estimate, at a time when most economists and policymakers seem inflationary pressures easing. On a 12-month basis, the CPI closed 2023 up 3.4%. And I also added the data right here so that you guys are all set, ready to go, and you guys have the data so you guys don't miss anything. So let's really break down this market right now, team. Let's go over to the S&P 500 and understand what we have. So the S&P 500, we have this data, and this market dropped back on down. Now, let's just take a second. When we see the S&P 500 have this big pullback, and we see this S&P 500 have this big red candle, it scares a lot of traders. A lot of traders get nervous over this and they say, man, I did a call contract overnight. Man, I thought we were going to go up to record highs. Can we just take a second here? Let's go back to a larger time frame, a 5-minute time frame or so. Team, this pullback really is not that big. It is from 478 to 476.35. We are almost still at the highs we were at yesterday. We had a gap up overnight, and now this kind of just brought us right back down to where we were. The record high on the S&P 500 is right there. It's not like, this CPI data really affected it that much. When we take a look over on the S&P 500, the highest we have ever been is right here at that 480.40 mark. We are right next to that 480.40 mark. We are $3.70 away from that record high. So the S&P 500 at this time, even though that it is higher than expected CPI data, I think we are so close to that record high that we're going to continue to push up towards that record high. Remember, my target that I would like to see over on the S&P 500 is somewhere up above 490. I would like to see another, probably I'm going to say $15 over on the S&P 500 over the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's what I would like. Then yes, once we get closer to 500, I do think we get a very big drop. I don't think we get all the way up to 500. I think we get to like more 489, 491, 493, like something in that region. That's where I want to start looking for reversals. As of now, I don't want to look for reversals just yet. When we take a look over on why we would going to turn, 500 is most likely going to be impossible to break for a while. I'm just giving everyone that heads on up. 500 is not going to be easy to break. It's such a strong psychological number. Just like when we take a look over on NVDA. Right? NVDA is being an absolute beast at this moment, but let's just take a look over on its daily chart really quickly. This daily chart over on NVDA, it's pretty wild when you guys think about it, right? NVDA has been absolutely insane, absolutely crazy. But what have you guys realized about every time it comes up to 500? It came up to 500 back in August. Then it fell all the way back on down towards 394. Came back up towards 500 in November. Fell all the way back on down towards 450. Came back up towards 500 in December. Fell back on down to 475. And then finally we broke out of 500. Most likely something similar is going to happen on the S&P 500. As we go up to 490, 493, we get a big pullback. Then maybe again like 6 months later, we get back up to 490, go a little higher, get near 500, get a big pullback. We are most likely to be able to break through 500. It's going to take time. It's going to take, I think, a lot of time to get above 500. Imagine the NVDA, but on a much bigger scale. Now, what's the big thing about NVDA here? NVDA also basically set itself up in like a ginormous ascending triangle pattern, right? You guys can see we had NVDA going across the board at 500. Here's the 500 top resistance. And then we had this huge higher low uptrend that was just building and building and building and building and building until we got to the corner of the triangle. And once we got to the corner of the triangle, that's where we had our squeeze. And once we had our squeeze, that's where we have the breakout. That's where we have the rip. That's where we have the run. So you guys could see once we get these squeezes, we get these nice pops, these nice moves. You guys can see these squeezes, these nice pops, these nice moves. You guys see these squeezes, nice pop, nice move. These squeezing right here, nice pop, nice move. So we do like, when we get these ascending triangle patterns, but it's going to have to hit resistance and fall and hit resistance and fall, then hit resistance and fall. So we can see right now the S&P 500 did get a pullback, but we are working ourselves already right back on up. I do think if I had to make a prediction, and a prediction is not 100% true, but what it is my current thoughts is I think we finished today on a very solid green day. I do think today we do have a nice move back up to 478, 479, and possibly get all the way near that 480 mark. That's what I would absolutely love to see. So the S&P 500 starting to move. Now, let me ask you guys a quick little question. What has been the number one hottest stock in the stock market, as you guys know? The hottest stock in the stock market has clearly been NVDA, right? When we take a look over on NVDA here, traders, this thing has not only just been the clear-cut winner, it's been insane. It has been just absolutely loco. It's been nuts. We have seen NVDA now over the last 5 trading sessions go from 472 and spike all the way up to 548. Yes, guys, we are on about an $80 spike in the last 5 trading sessions. And you know what? I still think there's still juice left in the squeeze. There is. I still think there's some juice left in here, team. What do I would like to see? I would like to see 560 plus. I would like to see 570 plus. I think that NVDA is going to have, one big more shebang type of day. That's what I would like. I would like to see NVDA be able to continue to climb, continue to push, and just keep outperforming expectations. Now, we've gone over this a good amount on kind of the thing that we have to worry about over on this play. And what's the number one thing that we have to worry about is obviously the RSI. The RSI, traders, it's not going to lie. The RSI tells no lie, baby. What we are going to see here is we will have a very big pullback in, I think, the upcoming weeks. Not right now. I don't think it's going to be today, but I'm going to let every single person know that we are going to have that very big pullback in the upcoming weeks. NVDA right now, we can already see a 72 on the RSI. 72 on the RSI, and that's without this gap up that we have today. We had a 70 on the RSI right here. Guess what happened? We had a massive collapse. We had a 65 on the RSI right here. Guess what happened? Massive collapse. We had a 69 on the RSI right here. Guess what happened? Massive collapse. So you guys can see every time we become overbought above a 70 on the RSI, we do get a huge drop. But I do think this one's a little different, as in we have a lot of hype, we have a lot of momentum, everyone's going crazy on it. It's kind of tough to kind of stop this train. So I do think we might get 75 on the RSI, maybe an 80 on the RSI before we start turning. I would like to see this 575 plus before we start getting, those put contracts and start looking for that reversal. NVDA is still the number one top gainer in the stock market. It's where all eyes are at. So when we take a look over on the stock, we already know that this was the number one top gainer, right, of 2023. And NVDA over the past 1 year has been able to gain 239%. It's just been absolutely bonkers. Now, already year to date, it's already up 10%. That's crazy to think about. The S&P 500 long-term investors are only trying to get 10% throughout 12 months. We are now on January 11th. There hasn't even been 11 days to trade. There has literally been 4 days here and 4 days here. Right? That's it. It's been like 7 trading days, 8 trading days, and we're already up 10% what traders are trying to get throughout the entire year on the S&P 500. Right? So that's pretty nuts to think about that, NVDA is already cooking this hard right now. So do I think that could easily break? The answer is yes, I do. I do think NVDA could keep on going up even higher today. So the stocks that I've been trading lately, for anyone who has not realized, is I've been waking up every morning. I've been going through my news scanner. I've been just going to news over here and looking at the hottest press releases. Taking a look at the hottest press releases, which are the ones that could go on, nice big spikes. You could see positive. You could see cancer news. We don't have much news today. There really was not much news today. There was really not a lot of attention today. We didn't see a lot of hype this morning. right? Our new scanner catches absolutely everything from filings to news. If we just want filings, if we want to get insider information, if we want to get articles and blogs, if we want to get a little bit more analytics, you know, we don't miss any of the hot news. There is no hot news though today. Everything is a little bit more quiet. Everything is a little bit more like, okay, let's just focus on CPI data. So if that's the case, where have I been trading? I've either been trading NVDA or I've been trading SPX. Now, SPX, if you guys have been watching my videos that I've been posting every single night on YouTube, SPX has basically been one of the extremely helpful hands when leading this market. So SPX is almost like the crazy version of the SPY. It's a very simple, easy way to kind of think about it. And let's kind of just do our SPX breakdown so we have the best understanding of what is going to be happening in this market and what we could be seeing coming on up here. Let's just go to settings real quick. I want to go back into a little bit larger. Let's just go back to like a 5-minute chart here. I'm going to change this real quick and then try to update it. Let's go Tesla, just kind of change that here. And then let's just go to, actually, I'm just going to start fresh. Grab this. And I always like to just kind of go over a little bit of different charting here just to get a better understanding of what SPX might be able to do for us. A minute. Bars back, 90 days. Okay, cool. So let's break this thing on down. So now we have a good understanding of this entire move. So here's SPX. SPX, what I kind of want to start off with, just getting a good idea about this whole entire play here, is I want to see a little bit of these higher lows. And let me get display. I want to get exit out of that. I want my tools. Give me my tool window. Where's my tool window here? Tools. What I am looking at on this play is I do see a nice higher low setup. I see a low right here, a low right here, a low right here, a low right here. If I'm going to connect the dots, I got to figure out real quick how to bring up these tools over on light speed. But you guys can see, I see a little bit of higher lows, and I really want to connect these dots and try to figure out at this moment, would this be the best possible entry for me? Let me actually make this a little bit larger. Just want to find this thing. Come on, give me these tools here. Show, lines, ray, zoom, study, chart parameters, tools. I'll figure it out. I just had it up before. Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Show toolbar. All right, that makes sense. So what I want to do kind of right here, team, is I do want to grab maybe from, I'm going to say from this area right here, right? You know, right around this area, and connect these dots. And this would be probably the best uptrend I see. I think that makes sense, right? I think every single trader, you know, this makes sense to see that right now. SPX, we do have bounce play, we do have bounce play, we do have bounce play, we do have bounce play. So this is very kind of clear cut, very easy when taking a look over on the SPY. Now, let's go back over to the SPX right here. A little bit bigger, same exact idea. We are going to connect these dots here. I'm going to grab it from right here. I'm going to just connect these dots, and it looks like that is going to make the most sense. So to me, I see bounce play, bounce play, bounce play, and then it didn't come all the way back on down, but we could get a very nice little bounce play from here as well. I also want to put a little bit of a higher area where I can connect this dot, and I want to connect it to that very tippity top right there. So now I'm essentially having a nice little channel pattern. And this is going to help me be successful in my trading because I can take a look and understand where things might reverse at, where things are going to move at. So when I'm trading, team, it's very difficult a lot of times to just figure out which way the market's going to go. Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? But once you figure out different areas of support and resistance, you get a much better idea. So for instance, if I see right behind me, we get a bounce play, right? We have a bounce play right here. And you guys can see we also have a bounce play right here. I'm going to say probably next time it comes down to this area, that's going to be a nice dip buy area. Just like we have a strong resistance line right here. You can see we have a strong resistance line right here. And if we wanted to extend this picture, you know, it's extended all the way on up, there's going to be a good resistance area right here. So the safest area to be able to make money is to be able to buy at lows or again, do put contracts up high. If you break these areas, you definitely could see breakouts. But as of now, I do see higher lows. As of now, I do see an overall uptrend. I would like to maybe see a quick morning pullback right at the start of the day, be able to get filled on a dip buy and bounce play, and then start to be able to move itself on up even higher. So I like, again, our game plans that we're kind of coming up with. I would like to see maybe a little bit of a morning pullback. See if we get any other, attention. See if we get any sort of, momentum, any sort of hype along those lines. We are watching NVDA right off the rip, SPX right off the rip. This is going to be very exciting for us. All right, awesome. So let's do this here, traders. NVDA, we are watching this one. SPY, we are watching this one as well. Starting to get a little bit of a bounce back on up. Let's take a chat vote here, team. So chat vote, bringing this thing on over. Let's get everyone all set and say, do you think the SPY will spike or crash today? So we just had CPI data, team. Do you guys think that the SPY is going up? Or do you guys think, Dek, we had a drop. I think we're actually going to go lower. We're right next to 480. I think things are going to turn. I think things are going to get weaker. So I'm going to put it to unanimous. No one knows, what you're voting. You guys don't have to be influenced. Don't worry. Cast your vote. Pick what you guys want. If you guys are on YouTube right now, I want you guys to type out on YouTube, do you think it's going to go up or down? Either type out spike or crash, depending on what you guys think over on YouTube right now. So you guys are all good. Everyone over on Tradecaster, go ahead and cast your vote at this moment. So everyone go vote so that you guys are all ready to rock and roll. And let's get these results. Let's see what people are focusing on. Let's see what, which way the overall chat room thinks that this is going to be going today. So we're going to be all set, ready to rock and roll here, team. Also, a little heads on up. If you guys do not receive my morning newsletter every single day, make sure that you guys add your email to my morning newsletter. So again, you guys can click that link right there, and you guys will be all set, ready to rock and roll. So make sure that you guys are all set and receiving the morning newsletter every single day. That is so crucial, so important. I'm trying to have it hyperlinked to you guys. Just again, copy and paste that right there for you. And you'll be able to add your email. For some reason, it's not allowing it over on YouTube. Just copy and paste it and it'll work. All right, team, let's see what we got here. Everyone cast your vote if you guys haven't yet in the matter of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stop the poll. 65%, traders. 65% says that we're going up today. So right now, traders, we are watching, we are waiting. Nope, Jerome Powell is not speaking today. So there is no Jerome Powell speech today. Nothing along those lines. We just had our CPI data, and now we're going to see what's going to be happening. So with, again, the inflation data, or excuse me, the CPI data so high, why did this drop right away? Is because a lot of people are saying to themselves, oh, wow, hey, we're with the CPI data very high, there's a better chance that we are not going to be raising rates, which is why we had a nice little drop. So, or cutting rates, I would say, excuse me. I'm sorry about that. So there's a better chance that we are not going to cut rates on this next meeting. And that's why we had a drop. So Dek, why are we moving back on up right now? Well, to be honest, team, if you want my honest answer, why are we moving on up, even though that people are kind of saying that we're not going to be cutting rates? It's just this market's too strong. I mean, guys, it's been almost 3 months. And every single day, if you just bought calls, you'd probably be a millionaire right now. For the past 3 months in a row, the S&P 500 has gone green, 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 one red day. Green, 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 one red day. Green, 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 one red day. Green, 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 one red day. I mean, guys, it's like how ridiculous. Nearly every single day is green. At some point, it will turn. At some point, things are going to get worse. At some point, we will see some sort of pullbacks and drops. But honestly, it's just this market is so hot. This market has had so much momentum. You know, I haven't really done many put contracts. I've been more looking for just call contracts and, you know, running with this momentum, which is why I've been very successful. Now, every now and then when we see a trend line crack, we definitely look for a put contract. When we see something along those lines, we definitely go ahead and say, all right, hey, let's look for, you know, a quick little scalp play on the downside. Those are all, you know, viable options for quick little put contracts. But, you know, we definitely want to, you know, being smart about that. So traders, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to kick this party on off right now. It is 8:30 in this market. Guys, let's have a great day ahead. Let's get ready to have some fun. Let's get ready to make some money. Let me throw out our different scanners here, our different level 2s. And we are all good here, traders. Let's have ourselves a day, baby. Let's have ourselves an absolute day. So we do have the SPY already kicking things on off and moving up. So the SPY already kicking some things on off and moving up. And also a little heads on up, SPX. Traders, what can you guys realize? SPX with the gap up is actually already breaking this area. Now this area here is very important to me because as you guys can see, this is an old top right here, right? We have an old top. We have an old top. Now this area should hold up as support. That area right here should be a very nice support line if it comes back on down towards it. So we might come back on down towards that 4,793 area. That could be a very nice area to start getting a bounce play before our possible next leg. As always, I just like to be ready in case, you know, anything does start happening. So we can go SPX. I always like to go a couple days out, you know, January 16th, let's say, call contracts, you know, could look for 5 contracts. What's the date? 4,793, 4,790. Put myself slightly in the money right away. There is that little bounce. Why is that bounce happening? Because that is that gray candle or that trend line that we talked about in the past where we have old high right here. We do have old high right here. Those old high is trying to hold up as support. If those two areas can hold up as support, that's going to be absolutely beautiful to be able to move on up even higher. So we do have the SPY we are watching, but I like to watch SPX a lot of times as well to see, are we going to be able to get some sort of dip buy? Are we going to be able to get some sort of bounce? Are we going to be able to see some sort of momentum, you know, from that alone? So the SPY here, traders, doing its best. SPX right now still doing its thing, trying to hold on up the best it can. SPX. Kind of want to unlink these here. Let's go SPY here. SPX, cool. So we are all set in case I wanted to get filled over on this play. If it starts cracking, I like to give it some time though, especially right at the start of the day. Give it a little bit of time. I'm not in on anything, just a little heads on up. You guys will see my positions. So I am not in on anything at this moment. I am kind of sitting back. Here's my position box. The moment I jump in, I will show you guys that. So right now, I'm just moving SPX off the screen. SPX is like the wild version of the SPY. We might get a little bit of a pullback, but really what I need to look for on this day. And all I need to look for on this day is to watch SPX get back above this gray line. So SPX, get back above that gray line and we're absolutely fine. But if it goes underneath this gray line, you got a long way to go all the way down to this bottom gray line. Traders, it all just comes on down to recognizing a pattern, recognizing a chart, recognizing a channel, and then saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to follow this. I'm going to be smart about this. I'm going to use my head about this. If we fall back inside the channel, we have all this room to fall all the way back on down here. The only way that you want to do calls is if we get above this channel and we start breaking on out above this channel. So we might move right back on up, hit this gray line, start falling right back on down. So let's just watch this real quick. We can just watch SPX, you know, which is basically, as we talked about, the crazy version of the SPY. And let's just see if we hit this gray line and another red candle forms, kind of confirming that this is going to be a strong support or resistance line, depending on where the candle's at. So right now we are watching these plays here. See, you know, we're not being able to break that just yet. We want to see, can we get back above this line? If we can get back above this line, great news. If you can't get above it, things definitely are getting a little bit weaker here. Just kind of matching it up with this old high right here. And you guys can see, cracked underneath it, broke back above it, or back up to it. Now starting to get a little bit weaker. So we're just watching that. We know the game plan. We know what we need to be watching. We have a clear-cut understanding about it. No calls whatsoever on the SPY. No calls whatsoever on SPX until we at least get back above that green line or this gray line here, which we are starting to do. So we're starting to get there slightly. Is the SPY trying to get a little bounce off that VWAP right there? I'm just going to move this into the bottom right-hand corner, and so we can kind of keep this on watch while keeping our eyes peeled on everything else. So, guys, we are actually seeing the SPX get a little bit more hype, starting to slowly build itself back on up right now, which is absolutely beautiful. Might get a possible order here soon. Guys, we do have SPX starting to move itself back on up here. SPX starting to move itself back on up. The high of the day is 477.94. SPX is going on a nice move. We just broke back above that gray candle or that gray line, which is absolutely awesome. No entry for myself just yet, but things are looking pretty good. And we might actually get a little bit of a rally here over on SPX as, again, SPY is now starting to move up towards 478.03. If you guys are in calls, I like it. If you guys are in calls, there's nothing bad I can say as long as you hold above that gray line. I always like to try to get the best entry possible, either right when we break the gray line, maybe a little bit of a pullback, but as of now, things are looking pretty solid. Things are looking pretty good on the S&P 500 and SPX as you guys are above that old resistance line at this moment. Watching this closely here. How's NVDA? I'm not really too focused on penny stocks right now. Penny stocks traders, there's not that much hype. So we have a little bit of hype over on SPEC today, but I'm not seeing that much hype over in the penny stock world. Things are a little bit lighter in the penny stock world right now. They really are. A little bit slower as a lot of people are focused over on the CPI data. So most people are focused over on the CPI data, a little bit more focused on SPX, a little bit more focused over on NVDA here today. We also do have, everything's looking pretty good at this moment. Guys, SPX starting to move on up a little bit better as well. Can we be able to get that break over on NVDA? Guys, NVDA also an amazing play. My targets for NVDA is all the way up towards like 550 plus. My targets over on NVDA, my ultimate target is all the way up towards around 575. That's what I would like. I would like to see this thing all the way on up towards 575. I would like to see NVDA, rip, not only today, but tomorrow. And I would like to see it have a gap up into Monday. And I would like to see it continue to keep on going. We're kind of waiting for that perfect entry here, team. So traders getting ready to rock and roll, getting ready for a huge day here. So we're all set, ready to rock. Come on here, baby. Come on here, traders. Right now, we are getting a little bit of that bounce play right off that, gray line. Remember, most important thing is if you want to enter right now, you want to do an entry near the gray line. So still watching these moves here, traders. Here's that gray line. We can zoom in extremely closely in the right-hand corner and see if that thing is going to be able to continue to hold on up. As it's doing right now, everything still looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty strong. Notice again, you could look for a quick little entry right next to the gray line. As long as it holds above that gray line, you guys are good to go. Just want to make it very easy and simple. Once again, for anyone that's saying, Dek, what's that gray line representing? That's this old high right here, which should hold up as support. And that's this old high. And as you guys can see, we are basically onside a ginormous channel pattern. Top resistance, bottom support, building higher lows, getting ready for that possible next leg and that possible breakout. So I really do like the crack, got back above it, bouncing off of it, and trying to hold up as support. We're just kind of keeping that one on our back burner right now. No entry just yet, but getting ready for our first trade and just making sure everyone understands the idea of the first trade. So right now, team, being smart, waiting and watching here, team. Not like we're seeing too much movement as of yet. NVDA, another little bounce right here. Or excuse me, SPX, another little bounce. Remember, penny stocks, you don't need much penny stocks right now. We got SPEC, a little bit of a fade on down, SPEC. We got MLEC. That isn't doing anything at this moment. Take a look over on MLEC. Nothing going on with MLEC. This one is just fading on down. Remember, great shorts. What do I do with penny stocks, guys? I short them because they're all garbage companies. None of these penny stocks are going to turn into the next Apple. We know MLEC is most likely going to fall back down towards 225. We know that SPEC is most likely going to fall back down to $2 in time. We know that LAES is most likely going to fall back down towards $1.35 in time. I mean, just take a look at the past chart history pattern of these plays. Over the last year and a half, 2 years, they're just falling. They just fade and fall and get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So yes, there will be occasional spikes, but nearly all penny stocks are bad companies that aren't going to do much in the future. NVDA, we're still just kind of waiting and getting ready for that possible pop when it does come. I do see slight lower highs here, as you guys can connect the dots, right? You do have a higher low or a top, then a top. That one's slightly weaker. We also do have SPX getting a little bit of a bounce off that gray line here still. We bounced off it once, bounced off it again. Couple candles still hitting that gray line. We want that gray line to hold up as support. And then essentially, what do we want to start seeing? We want to start seeing a some sort of higher low, right? So really what we'd like to see is like some sort of like higher low setup. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger here. Yeah, that's a little too steep anyway. Right there, that's a little too steep. But we'd like to see some sort of higher low setup start forming in one way or another. So we'll just still, again, keep that one on watch. Stay alert on it. Looking to see, can we be able to get those breaks? Here's another little bounce play on SPX. Another little bounce play. Right now, if I am going to jump in on SPX, this would probably be my order. 4,790 or 4,795. Probably, and I always start with right around like 5 contracts. So 5 contracts, 4,795 calls. Want to see if this thing could possibly be able to break and start ripping and running. We are still holding this area, which is very nice. I see a very small downtrend right now. Very small downtrend. I would like to always look to see, can we be able to break some downtrends? If we can start breaking some downtrends, start getting a little bit more action, that's always great to be able to bring in some hype. You guys can see, the kind of the downtrend that I'm at this moment, just kind of connecting some of these highs. You guys can see we are slightly getting weaker. Probably want to break through this yellow dotted line. That'll show that more strength is coming on in. So no reason to do calls right now when we're going lower, when we're cracking underneath the channel pattern and we're not, getting any sort of strength. No reason for calls right now, team. No reason for calls at this moment. So everyone stay smart, use your head, wait for the best possible play. We're doing everything we need to. Doing everything we absolutely need to right now, traders. Everyone use their head. Also, do we have any sort of 10 o'clock news? Let's go ahead and take a look here. Let's go to economic calendar, see what we have here. U.S. economy or economic calendar. We have Thursday, 8:30. No news at 10 o'clock, but regardless, we always have movement at 10 o'clock. So no news at 10 o'clock, but we should be able to see some great movement. Now, a question that you might ask me right now, saying, Dek, could I short the SPY? Could I do a put contract on SPX? Could I go on the downside? The answer is yes right now. Remember, traders, go to a larger scale. If I see that we hit the gray line, we fall all the way down to the bottom gray line, and then we move on up and we fall all the way back on down, and we move on up, then we start falling back on down, and then we move on up and we fall all the way back on down, and look where we are right now. We are underneath that gray line. If we are underneath that gray line, puts are in control. Puts are in control. There is no reason whatsoever, zero, zip, no reason whatsoever to do call contracts right now. Okay? None. Do not do a call until you're above the gray line. Do not do a call until you're breaking some sort of downtrend. We might have, maybe we can connect some dots right here and hope for the best and basically say maybe a new wedge is starting to form. Maybe a little tiny wedge is starting to form where we, moved ourselves on up. Then we start moving ourselves on down, bouncing. So kind of just creating a little bit of a wedge here. See if maybe that's going to be able to turn into something for us. So I'm experimenting, trying to figure out what works, trying to figure out what doesn't work right now. 30-year bond auction at 1 o'clock. Thank you. We had a 9-year bond auction yesterday at 1 o'clock, and we did see the SPY get a little jumpy. So at 1 o'clock today, team, just be aware that you might see a little bit of jumpiness. So this was yesterday. 1 o'clock, all of a sudden, the SPY got a little bit of a drop and then spiked on up, and traders said, what the heck just happened right there? It was only about $1 move, but you know what? It's still nice to see. So 1 o'clock, thank you for the heads up over there, traders. You guys are fantastic. Love you, love you, love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Woo! Traders, things are getting exciting already. As you guys know, over on tradecaster.com, you guys are going to be able to log in coming on up, and we are going to be having even more streamers for you guys. Traders, I mean, Tradecaster's already turned it into, I think, the best of the possible best. For anyone that's signed up to a random Discord or a random chat room, in Tradecaster, you have access to not only my chat, but Kush's chat, and AK's chat, and Active Traders chat, and Futures, and Zimbo. It's great out to see Zimbo. We also have Police, NQ Futures, Mamba Trader, Yeah Buddy. All these live streams. It's a place that you guys can go, of course, go ahead, click, see their chat right here, and be able to watch them live trade, be able to watch them live stream, and for you guys to be able to get education from every single different trader. If you guys are not part of Tradecaster, make sure you guys head on over to tradecaster.com and sign up to a free 7-day pass, because we are adding even more live streamers. They are starting on up on the 22nd. So January 22nd, going to be an insane time where we are going to be maxing out Tradecaster. I think we're going to have like record high streamers, and you guys as members are going to have access to absolutely all of them. Going to be nuts. So pumped about that, and so great about it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So right now, team, S&P 500 here. Right now, we are keeping our eyes peeled on the SPY. Traders, look at this, though. SPY getting weaker. SPX getting weaker. If you guys have not pulled the trigger yet, you guys are doing fantastic. If you guys have not pulled the trigger yet, you guys are doing absolutely amazing. So for anyone who has not jumped in yet, you guys are doing exactly what you should be doing. So many people think, again, what you got to do is jump on in right away. No way. That's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to be jumping in right away. You don't want to be putting yourself in these bad positions. You don't want to be trading and just saying, oh man, I hope I go green. Right now, wait for that easy area. Wait for that easy opportunity. The S&P 500 still waiting for these moves on up. Also, traders, what I'm trying to do my best with over in 2024 is I'm trying to document every single trade I make, basically making it like a huge documentary, seeing you guys or being able to watch me turn my account into whatever it turns into, hopefully all the way up towards $1 million. And every single night I have been posting the live video. So if you guys have not checked these on out, head on over to my YouTube channel. You guys can see what we've been able to do. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 571, 716, 633, $1,500. We did have one red day. I'm going to let you guys know that right now. There was one red day that we've had. But other than that, it has been just absolutely successful. So every single day, we've been absolutely crushing it. If you guys are not keeping up with these, I'm posting these daily. I'm posting these nightly, showing you all my trades. Make sure you guys go ahead, give that a big old thumbs on up. Smash that thumbs on up over on those videos if you guys are not watching them. So those are huge for you. Traders, SPY right now still getting weak. We need to see the SPY, be able to get that, break back above the VWAP to start getting some hype. Now, as the SPY starts getting weaker, and as NVDA gets a little bit weaker, obviously the big question is, hey, is there any other penny stocks going right now? Is there any sort of penny stock hype? Is there any sort of penny stock momentum? Is there any sort of penny stock, ripping and running here? Let's go through the top board together. Can we short any of these moves here? We got EJH, a little bit of hype. EJH potential short on this play when it gets above 80 cents. We always want to wait till above 80 cents. MLEC, anything going on here? MLEC, still just a whole bunch of garbage. SGMT, nah, not too much. SPEC right here, team. SPEC, this one kind of moving a little bit more sideways, fading on off a little bit, not really getting a lot of momentum here. MRT, no. BNED, no. So again, all these penny stocks that I usually like looking at are a little bit dead today. And the reason why they're dead is because there was not as much news. Why was there not as much news? Think about this, guys. If you are a company and you are on the New York Stock Exchange or you are on the NASDAQ or you're on whatever, you're on the stock market, and you know that every single trader is not focused on penny stocks today, but every single trader is focused on CPI data, would you put out a hot press release? No. I want to put out a press release that there's no other big news and everyone's focused on the press release that I put out. If I was again a company on the stock market, I would say, let's do it on like a random Monday or Tuesday. Let's do it on a day that there is no hot news. Let's do it on a day that, everyone's going to be looking forward to what they could trade. And let's try to get as many investors possible. Not on the day that CPI data on the first one of 2024 comes on out. So we are not going to have as much news on today because everyone's focused over on the CPI data. A little heads on up. We still have this market fading right now. Let the market fall. Now, traders, what we do have to talk about here is obviously what? Bitcoin. Traders, the Bitcoin ETF. It's been approved. Bitcoin has now rised all the way up to 48,000 after SEC greenlights launch of US Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin traded higher on Thursday as the SEC gave the green light for the first ever spot Bitcoin ETF to trade in the US. The cryptocurrency was up more than 6.5% to 48,993, its highest level since December of 2021. Meanwhile, the price of ETH advanced 6% to 2,626, not seen since May of 2022. Traders, look at Bitcoin right now, just absolutely going straight up. The ETF approval is watershed moments for the crypto industry, which sought to launch its Bitcoin ETF more than 10 years ago. Optimism had been building since Grayscale big legal win against the SEC in August over a regulator's refusal to let it convert its popular GPTC, its Bitcoin Trust, into an ETF. So traders, we definitely want to continue to keep our eyes over on Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ETF. I'm not sure when the Bitcoin ETF is actually available to start trading. If you guys have any more information on what the ticker is, if you guys have any information on how to actually invest into the Bitcoin ETF, I'm all ears. I haven't done that research just yet. But if we go ahead and we take a look at it, I bet you, things are probably going to be pretty hot right now over in the Bitcoin world, the cryptocurrency world. So right here, let's go over to our coin market cap. And you can see nearly everything in the crypto world is green. Guys, Bitcoin's coming on up towards almost 50,000. So right now, traders, in the last 7 days, Bitcoin's up 12%. Ethereum is up 18%. We're seeing 5%. I mean, nearly everything. This is a stable coin. Everything in the crypto world's green. If you have any money in crypto, you're green right now. So nearly every single thing right now is green. It's pretty nuts. I know it's sometimes, I think the biggest thing for a lot of traders, guys, I'm going to give you guys a little heads on up. I think the biggest thing for a lot of traders is to get that first initial leap in trusting cryptocurrency. Trusting this finance world where there are a lot of scams, there are a lot of taking advantage of, but this could be the next step of finances. I'm going to let you guys know right now. What I think is, this is what I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Very bold prediction. Okay? This is what I think is going to happen. I think we are eventually, I can't say the date, I can't say the month, I can't say the week, I can't say the time. I think we are eventually going to get rid of the dollar. I think the dollar is going to go poof. Now, why are we going to do that? I think there's a few different reasons. Number one, the dollar just constantly gets printed and printed and printed and printed and printed, which leads to high inflation, which basically leads to the dollar losing value. Now, another reason is that as we progress with times, a lot of people don't want to be having dollars. They don't want to have actual physical assets. We want to have everything online. Now, another little thing I might add as well is that passing around money, it is, little heads on up, extremely dirty. And especially in this clean world, especially what we went through after the last 3 years, I know a lot of people that says, ooh, I don't even want to touch money. I don't want to touch dollars. I don't want to touch pennies and coins and have to go sanitize my hands, things along those lines. So that's just a last little reason that I have along that as well. Now, as we start going into more digital worlding and digital currency, what I think is Bitcoin can't always stay the leader. I do think the US government is going to have to do something eventually. You guys know how the US government is. The government says, if we're not making the most money out of it, then we don't like it. That's why they don't like Bitcoin. So you know what I think they're eventually going to do? The US government's going to launch their own cryptocurrency, which is going to be like a real, this is what we're going to be using. The Federal Reserve is going to make their Fed coin or whatever they want to call it. And that's going to be the one that everyone starts buying into, as that's actually the one that's run by the government now and saying, we're not accepting Bitcoin anymore. We're not accepting this anymore. We're only accepting ours because we run it, we regulate it, we make it out what we want. So that's kind of what I would predict over the next 10, 15 years. That crypto starts getting more adapted, people start making tons of money off cryptocurrency, and then eventually the US government's going to say, all right, guys, we lost the battle of cryptocurrency. Unfortunately, we got to start moving over to a digital world. But hey, how about we run the digital world then? Make Bitcoin not allowed, and let's, again, we make our coin, we make our crypto the one that is now the United States dollar. So it's like, that's what I think eventually will happen. The government's going to say, all right, we allow this, but you guys have to use ours. You guys know how the government works. You guys know how that's worked. You think they're not going to get their payday? You think they're going to allow Bitcoin to do whatever they want and them not be able to get any money from it? It's not usually how it works here, right? So that would be like a long-term outlook. There's already rumors swirling about the Federal Reserve basically making their own crypto. You know, this is the new American dollar. This is what you have to use. So, just a little idea. Just a little idea for you. Just throwing out there, spitballing a little bit, guys. I'm an idea, guys. I like feeding off energy. I like feeding off enthusiasm, okay? That's what I like to do. Sometimes I throw out an idea out there a little bit too crazy, and I got to tone it back a little bit. Sometimes it's a little too toned back. Got to get a little bit more wild. Got to try new things on out. Break out of the shell. S&P 500 team. Want to make sure we're all good. The worst thing you ever want to be, guys, is in your shell, being normal, not trying new things, not trying to trade, not trying to invest, not trying to start a business, not trying to get involved in real estate, not trying to do this. I remember back in like middle school and high school, if you ever did anything different or outlandish than anyone else, you were made fun of because what? Because you weren't like everyone else, right? That's kind of how it is. You want to be like everyone else. I'll tell you right now, everyone else, not you guys, okay, not you guys, but everyone else stinks. Everyone else is losers, right? It's like, oh, why would I want to be like everyone else? Yeah, I want to commute to an hour-long drive and then work underneath a boss and stare at the clock and sit on my cubicle and sit there from 9 to 5 and eat a sandwich and talk to Greg about, you know, the New York Mets every single day, and then have to drive back on home and get home at 8 o'clock at night and then still have to pay off my mortgage and my credit cards. That's normal. Why the heck would anyone want to be normal? Put me in the 1% that I'm standing way over there to the left doing my own thing, having fun, doing stock trading, driving cars, traveling the world, doing whatever I want, going golfing. I want to be 1% at all times. If someone said you could be like the 99% of the 1%, be the 1% every single time. Have some difference to you. People are scared to try to do something different. No way. That's what you want to be. Guys, we got 3 minutes here. 3 minutes, we actually may start getting a little bit of action. 3 minutes, we might actually start getting a little bit of momentum. 3 minutes, we might start getting a little bit of a popping, ripping, running, movement. So we are watching the SPY at this time here, traders. And I want to see if we are going to get any sort of hype, any sort of action. If we can squeeze on up. I think a lot of the squeeze would happen when we break this yellow line. Waiting for our first trade here, team. Waiting for our first trade, waiting for our first, move. A little bit of activity here. SPEC. Guys, SPEC still, again, just a big short. Day after day after day. Just been, some very nice shorting over on these plays. If we're going to see a pop, it's going to start here pretty soon. If we are going to see the market go green here, traders, it's going to start here pretty soon. So the SPY, we are still waiting on this one. I want to see if this play is going to be able to get that move, get that pop, get that, rip and run. I want to see the SPY get all the way on up towards like 480 today. That's the goal. I want to see a nice big green day out of the SPY today. I want to see a nice big move out of the SPY today. And remember, always just have orders typed out, ready to go, right? Have orders typed out. You know, be ready to rock and roll. Be ready to be able to pull the trigger as needed. Adjust your orders. Have, again, everything all set. Sometimes a spike comes, people are typing out orders. They're missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not what you want. You don't want to miss out on hundreds of thousands of dollars. Little heads on up. There is no news at 10 o'clock. But every single hour, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we always do see volume push in. That could be selling, that could be buying. Volume does not always mean stocks go up, but there is volume that usually happens right around 10 o'clock. We're hoping the S&P 500 can get a little bit of action, start breaking through that VWAP area. We're hoping that the SPX can start moving back on up towards this downtrend area. So here comes 10 o'clock. Let's see if we get a little bit of hype. Let's see if the SPY, what we can do here. Let's see if the SPY can get a little damage going. All right, make a name for itself. Come on, kid. Have some fun out there. Swing the bat. Come on, choke up. S&P 500 still waiting on this move here. So still not too much here. Not too much. It's my little league baseball coach used to always say, come on, have fun out there, kid. Have fun out there. It's like I'm sitting there playing 2 years above my age group when I'm like 10 years old or 9 years old. These kids are already hitting puberty, throwing like 70, and I can barely hold the bat on up there. Have some fun out there, kid. Just take a baseball right to the side of the head. Come on, you'll be good. Choke up on that thing. I didn't play baseball long growing up. I do hold a record though in Little League. Most kids hit without being taken out of the game. I threw all 9 innings and hit nearly every single kid. Not the coach came over to my coach and said, you got to take him out of the game. You got to take him out. And my coach said, no, he's again staying in. And partially because the coach was my dad. But you know what? I threw as hard as I could and I didn't let up. And I was taking out kids and parents were screaming and we had to again run to our car after the game. But that was a memory that I'll live forever. And those bruises that those kids came back, there had to be child services called after that game. It was ridiculous. But I take pride that I never gave up. They wouldn't even stand in the batter bat. Usually you would say, I can't wait to hit. I want to hit. No one would hit. Kids were sucking on orange peels the whole entire time, just acting like they forgot they were next up in line. Just sharing sunflower seeds and saying that they had to go shit their pants, sitting in the porta potty for, again, 10 innings, just waiting for the game to be open. Over. Hey, I don't want to hit. I threw hard. That's what I did. Curveball, no. Change up, no. Throw ump. Give me a strike. Right now, SPY getting weaker here, traders. So far, all it did was drop on down. Trader, what'd you tune into? Just talking about a little memory. A little memory right there. Little baseball memory. All right. Hey, excuse me. Stock market. We would love for you to spike now. Stock market, we would love for you to, how do I say this politely? Go up. Stock market, we would love to, start climbing a little bit better. So where is there going to be a dip buy? Because right now, traders, we already can clearly see that the S&P 500, this whole entire play has just been fading, falling, getting ugly. So let me ask you guys a question. Where would be the dip buy? This is a chart of SPX. Okay? This is a chart of SPX right now at this moment. Where would be the best dip buy area? So let's just take a little bit of a screenshot on this play. Screenshot, change it, best dip buy. Right here, right here, right here. Where do you guys think the dip buy area is going to be? Right here. So that is where the next potential opportunity to be able to make some money. Let's make sure we understand that. dip buy, dip buy, dip buy. This is the next area right here. That's what we're looking for. So we basically had a little fake out breakout up here. Little fake out breakout. Looked like it was about to break on out. Now it's just come crashing all the way back on down. We definitely want to look for some sort of entries over on SPY or SPX as we come on down towards that bounce play. So this bounce play, if we zoom in very close here, and I'm trying to get it, that is like 4,765, kind of right around that area. So let's go to SPX. 4,765 call contracts, 5 contracts. And as we come on down towards that gray line, we definitely want to look for that dip. So as we come on down towards that gray line, we are looking for that possible dip buy. We are looking to be able to get involved in that possible entry. And we are getting very, very close here. I wish I could zoom in a little bit more. You guys can see how close we are getting. It keeps, where's it zooming me in on? There we go. Come on. Showing all the room on up. I want to see the room on down here a little bit more. There we go, guys. SPX, a little bit of a drop here. Guys, SPX getting a little bit weaker. Can we get a little bit of a bounce here? Give it a few seconds. We are all the way back on down. Let's just see if it's going to be able to get a little bit of a lower shadow, bounce back on up. The SPY trying to hold. Come on, let's watch this here, traders. We know that we are at this area. This thing needs to bounce all the way back on up. We know where we're at here, traders. If this thing cracks and doesn't go back above it, it's not good. If this thing cracks and does not go back above it, it is not good in any sort of way. Is there any sort of dip buy area that we can look at other than that? Let's just see here. How much lower could this thing honestly go up, to go down towards? Traders, I'll be honest. Channel is not holding. I was looking for the channel to hold and possibly, get that next leg. So far, we are not holding at all. So, Dek, where is the next possible dip buy? I'm trying to figure this thing on out. Where is going to be an area that traders are going to say, all right, this makes sense? 4,750, 4,750 area. That obviously, makes some sense if that thing wants to go all the way down towards like these bottoms. Extend it on out. So we are cracking that channel at this moment, team. Cracking that channel, trying to find where's the best overall mark of support. And we're actually going underneath that as well. Next area I see is all the way down to 4,750. And we got to find support eventually. There has to be some sort of support. Look at this ginormous red candle. Yeah, traders, I'm going to go like 4,750. Take a look here. Let's get, we can get rid of these channels now, okay? Channel's not playing good for us. So let's just go to delete line. Let's go to delete line, okay? Delete select the line, delete select the line. Take a look. You guys can see bounce play or old top resistance, bounce play, bounce play, bounce play, bounce play. This area, this is kind of what we're changing the new game plan for, looking for that next bounce. I was going to look to jump in a few times, but we just never got our bounce play whatsoever. It didn't even show any sign of support. So what we have here is, here's a bounce, here's top resistance, here's a bounce, here's a bounce, here's a bounce, here's a bounce. Where are we looking? Right here. So we are looking at this area now, see if we're going to be able to get filled and see if this thing is going to be able to pay us on out. So let's kind of scroll back in over on this play and be watching for that dip buy and for that bounce. Are we going to be able to get it, or are we going to keep on dropping even lower? So I'm going to change my entry. We got January 16th. I'm giving myself a little bit of time doing call contracts, 5 contracts, and let's go down to 4,750 if we do start dropping and if we do start getting even weaker here. So we are still getting, lower, 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 weaker, weaker, weaker. And we want to see 4,750 on SPX here. So we are just still dropping. Now, the greatest thing about this is that, I am not putting myself in on these positions. I want to wait for an area that I see that is holding. I want to wait for an area that I see that I like. I want to wait for an area that I see, has a lot of opportunity for me. And this kind of reminds me of a little bit of yesterday, but I'm even learning a little bit more of yesterday. Yesterday, there was a couple times that I pulled the trigger. I didn't like it, so I got out. I kept all my losses really tight. I jumped in. If it didn't do exactly what I wanted, I got out. And I took a small loss, then I won big. Then I won even bigger. And I finished off the day with $900 in profit. Today, I'm basically kind of waiting a little bit more for confirmation. Waiting. And then when I pull the trigger, I want to just get that nice big profit and be happy on the day. So if you guys have not seen that, again, make sure you guys go over to my YouTube channel. And you guys can check out so far day 1 of 2024, day 2 of 2024, day 3 of 2024, day 4 of 2024. Absolutely great stuff. Traders, we are still getting weaker here. Coming on up towards that, to that gray line here pretty soon. Almost there. Come on. So there's my order. I'm not in on this play yet, but I would like to see that little lower shadow down low. Give us that little lower shadow down low. Obviously, the SPY is going to drop with it. SPY will start fading. Looking to get some nice bouncing plays here. All right, traders, come on. Still waiting on this one. Give us that dip. Give us that bounce. Watching SPX on one screen, watching SPY on the other screen. Got my order typed on out, so I'm all set, ready to go. We are getting weaker and weaker and weaker. We know we have a lot of support, and it might go slightly underneath. It might go slightly above. It's going to be really tough to know the perfect area, team. I'm just being honest with you, because you can see we go slightly above, then we go slightly underneath, then we hit it perfectly, then we go slightly underneath, and here's a little crack that goes right back above. So really, if you are going to pull the trigger, it's got to be right around 4,750. You know, you might go slightly underneath, but then you could easily get a little bounce right back on up. Smartest thing to do is wait until you go slightly underneath, then do a couple entries, and then see if you're going to be able to get that move on up. There could be a possibility, though, that it doesn't even get to 4,750, and the bounce play is going to be coming up here pretty soon. Start small, add as you go. All right, so you can always start small, add as you go. I'd like to see a little bit lower. Come on, give us a little bit lower here. Possible reversal here very, very soon. You guys can see these candles that I'm looking at. We want to see 4,750. So we're trying to see if we can nail these dip buys. Get these good opportunities. We can actually change this as well. If you want to and say, Deck, I actually don't want to do any sort of dip buy. I'm going to wait until the downtrend of the day breaks. You can do that as well. So again, you know, downtrend of the day, this is what we have. So just a little heads on up. If you're saying, Deck, I don't know where the bottom's going to be. I don't want to risk trying to guess where the bottom's going to be. You guys can see top resistance, top resistance. You guys see top resistance. If you want to, wait till you break this yellow line. Break of this yellow line will confirm that we have found a bottom. Break of this yellow line will confirm that we have buyers moving on in. It's going to start bringing in a lot more hype and start bringing in a lot more momentum. So you guys can also keep your eyes peeled on that. Now, could that have been right there, guys? Could that have been the bottom? Could that be the potential bottom? It definitely could be. That could be the potential bottom. We did not go down to 4,750. We came on down to 4,753. So about $3 off there. But that could be potential bottom areas. We will keep our eyes peeled on this, obviously, extremely closely, looking for that reversal. I know Zach says he's starting to jump in on some calls. One of our top traders here over on TradeCaster, which is awesome. We're still waiting. We're still watching. And it's not like we're missing any kind of random, you know, penny stock right now. Not getting any sort of random penny stock. Not getting any sort of random big rips and runs here. Oh, Zach's in on puts. Gotcha. Thank you, Zach. You're in on put contracts. Shout out to you, buddy. Over on these puts, looking for it to keep on going lower. Right now, still no entry for myself. And if there is any sort of like breakouts, you know, I definitely want to be aware of them. Just right now, it's just a little bit lighter in volume. Little heads on up, SWVL traders. This has been a play that barely has any volume. SWVL has barely any volume. And this play right now, team, as you guys can see, is day after 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 day, starting to move on up. So day after day after day, moves on up, starts moving on up, starts moving on up, starts moving on up, but it's just, it doesn't have much volume at all. So please just make sure that you guys are aware of that. HARP, how's that one play? LBPH, how's LBPH doing? Guys, LBPH, this is the short that I think is going to pay you out for the next 2 days. So LBPH team just cracked its uptrend. It's going to fall at least down towards like 19 bucks. So LBPH is going to be very slow. It's going to be a very kind of slow play, very choppy play. But I do think if you guys are interested on getting involved, you guys can go ahead and look to get short this all the way down towards that 13 EMA. So I do think you have room to go all the way down towards that 13 EMA mark. SPY still getting weaker here. I will give this play a chance. I might dip buy. I want to see it a little underneath 4,750 though. Underneath, get that big, nice lower shadow, 4,750. Get a nice little crack right there. Then we start, trying to get that pump back on up. Pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it, pump it. Let me ask the chat room right now. How many people here, we were all expecting, we were all looking forward to the market moving up today? Now, the market's definitely had a couple, nice drop. How many people here have not pulled the trigger yet? How many people have said, Dek, I was looking forward to the market going on up. I was waiting for a couple breaks of resistance. I was waiting for a little bit more hype. I was waiting for a little bit more momentum. I was waiting for a little bit more action. How many people can raise their hand and say, I have yet to pull the trigger? No win, but no loss. Kind of just waiting, kind of just seeing, you scoping it out, waiting for a little bit of an opportunity. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful if you guys don't have any loss whatsoever. You guys are just sitting 100% cash. And you guys are learning. Now, what you can also think about probably at this moment is how many people would used to never be this trader. How many people before would say, hey, Dek, I would have 10 trades already by now. I would have 10 trades already by now and I'd be down 500, 1,000, 3,000 bucks already. But you know what? I'm learning to kind of wait for the setup. I'm learning to kind of wait for patience. I'm learning to be able to wait for that good opportunity here. Because remember, one trade, that's all it takes. Traders, if we wait for another 30 minutes and we get one trade and we make $1,500, that's more than 99% of people make throughout 8 hours. So far I've been waiting for 45 minutes to make my day's salary. Now, guys, what's so great about that? What's so awesome about that? I'm waiting 45 minutes here. Now, my next trade could come in 5 minutes. My next trade could come in 20 minutes. My next trade could come in 30, and I could make $2,000 potentially. So it's so great. It's so awesome that, you guys can realize that all we have to do is wait for that one nice setup, that one perfect trade, that one great idea, and then we'll be all ready to go here. Roma. Guys, Roma trying to move itself on up towards around that $10 mark. And the Guba Gabi, Roma. Dek, was that your best Italian accent? Not really. Kind of half-assed that one a little bit, to be honest. The Gabagoo. S&P 500. Trying to get a little bit of momentum here still. Guys, I would say watch for the SPY to get a small pop. And then I think it's going to come right back on down. I do think you're going to get a tiny little pop here, though. And then once we break that downtrend of the day is when we might start getting some life. When we might start getting some love. When we start getting a little bit of action here. Lisa, 2 for 2 on the day. Puts finally working. Absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it. Love to hear that. Traders, little side note. Also, we are only 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from round 1 of the Ski Trip Mastermind. So again, January is filled. January is booked out. There is still one spot available for March. So we are doing it in January and we are heading out in March. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be trading live in front of you guys in person for anyone that is going to be there. We have one spot available in March if you guys are interested in coming. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that on out. So looking forward to that, and that's going to be awesome. I know, again, Utah right now is getting pounded with a whole bunch of snow as well, so it's going to be like prime conditions when we get out there, team. We're going to be skiing. We're going to be snowboarding. We're going to be drinking hot chocolate. We're going to be taking little shots of Fireball on the ski lift. We're going to be throwing snowballs at each other, making snow angels, reading trend lines and charts, reading indicators. Great time. I'll see you out there. I'll see you out there. Here's that little pop I'm talking about. Guys, there's that little climb right here. Very nice. Let's see what happens as we come up towards that downtrend. Now, we have been seeing a nice fading market so far. Here would be a little scout play if you guys are looking for puts. Puts is going to be right at that yellow line if you guys are interested on it. So it's going to be right next to that yellow line. You guys can already see what's happening. Top yellow line, fade on down. Hit yellow line, fade on down. That yellow line is going to be tough to break above. Okay? So if you guys are interested in some put contracts, you're probably going to get some coming on up. It will be put contract SPX. That's going to be at 468. 468. So you can put yourself right in profit right there. 4,770. Put contracts, 5 contracts. Market order. When you come up to that yellow line, that would be the next best area to do a put contract if interested. So next best area to do a put contract would be at that yellow line here. And you want to look to see if we get any sort of reversal. If you break that yellow line, we could squeeze back on up and things could start getting a lot more exciting. So if we start breaking that yellow line, guys, we could start squeezing right on up and things could start getting exciting. Roma is live right now. I know that stock was halted. So that stock was halted here. SPY, I know a lot of people are going to say, Dek, you know, that's why it is very important to keep your eyes peeled over on SPX. You know, SPX kind of controls SPY. You know, you can get a good feel of these plays by looking at this chart here. So I am watching this one. Guys, let's see if we get a little pop on up to 4,768. Give it a chance. If I see 4,768, little upper shadow above it, I'll give it a chance. Hit, fall back on down. Just take profits when I have it. So I would like to see this hit and get rejected. Now, if you're saying, Dek, this is a crazy trade, why would you do this? Again, top resistance, top resistance, top resistance. Coming on up, hit top resistance, watch it fade on down. If you break this yellow line and we start spiking, that's obviously where you got to get out and say, okay, not worth it for me. Going to move on from this one. So let's watch to see if we get a little pop. You could do a small entry right now if you guys are interested on it. And then basically, you know, slowly build into this play if you guys would like to. But here's that little yellow pop here. A yellow line. We all know what's happening at this moment. Have this downtrend here. I want to wait for another candle to kind of confirm. Notice we're hitting it, getting a little bit of rejection right back on down. Probably going to get another little candle here, though. Let's kind of, test it again. Another candle starts on up here in about 3 seconds. There's the other candle. And let's just see what we have here. We are underneath this line right now, which is good. Underneath this area right now, which is good. Definitely getting a little bit weaker. Guys, I'm going to jump in on my first trade here. Jumping in over on my first trade, looking to see if we are going to reverse. And I'm just, just doing 5 contracts here, watching this entire downtrend. So I got this downtrend, looking to see if we're going to turn. And let's just try to make a couple quick bucks here. So we got a couple quick dollars, looking to see if we get a couple red candles. drop back on down, start getting weaker. All I'm doing is watching SPX at this moment. Watching SPX, see if this thing can fade, see if this thing can fall, get a little bit weaker, and start dropping. Right now, we're currently sitting, you guys can see how, SPX, you definitely can make a lot, lose a lot in a quick amount, but we are watching to see, can we basically hit this line and start getting weaker. Every time we come up near this yellow line as well, we could also add if we wanted to, but we are looking for this one to be able to drop and start giving some gains on back. If we can get up towards like $500, guys, I'm just going to take my profits right here. Oh, I actually just added. That's not what I wanted to do. That was an awful idea. I actually just added onto this play accidentally. It might work out for me because we're still underneath this downtrend, but I did not mean to add there. So I did not mean to add there. I still don't mind the play here for a second. Well, let's see if we can get a little bit of weakness. Just, I want to make sure I'm selling this, not adding more. Come on, stay underneath the yellow line. Nothing to worry about whatsoever. Sometimes I'm so used to shorting where you're buying back shares on shorting, We got our yellow line still, watching this downtrend. We're going to need this yellow line to hit, basically get that reversal. So we still have yellow line underneath it, guys. Nothing to worry about as we're underneath the yellow line still. As long as we're underneath the yellow line, you are still good to go. So we have our top resistance, yellow line, looking for the reversal and looking for the drop on down. Remember, if we take a look at the entire day's chart, top resistance, fall, top resistance, fall, top resistance, fall. And now we are starting to get this, nice, candle back on down here. Guys, we're up $350. Guys, let's actually take it here, $400 and sell. Spread's too big right now. Spread's too big. Just sold. I was up $500, guys. Just sold, but with the big spread, it actually got me out with even. I didn't lose $1 on that play. But I try to sell when I was up $400. Spread is so big right now, is that it just got me out, with no profit whatsoever. No profit, no loss. I try to take my profits right there, as you guys know. But the spread right there was just a little too big and couldn't be able to get that break. Now, a little heads on up. We are actually breaking right now towards the call side. You can actually see we are breaking on out to the call side there. But you guys can see what I was looking for on that play. I like the play that I just did. I'll be honest, I really did like the play I just did. We hit the yellow line. We got rejected. We jumped in on puts, saw it fall on down, was happy with profits, took profits, but the spread was so large that it actually kind of took away some of our gains here. Now, what I will say is that we might actually want to even switch over to some call contracts. Reason why we'd want to switch over to some call contracts right now is because we actually are breaking that line. And you guys can see we actually might be able to get some buying volume start coming on through. So 4,765, put ourselves in the money. 5 contracts here. Can we be able to get a little bit of a pop and rally on up towards the VWAP? As you guys can see, we are at this moment above that yellow line. And as long as we stay above that yellow line, it is still a good, valid trade. So you guys can see the entire thing of what I'm looking for at this moment, traders. It's not confusing at all. We have seen a top, we have seen a top, we have seen a top, and you guys can see we just hit another top. We are breaking this top area, and now we're looking to see, can we be able to get that U-shape and explosion on up? I could imagine this all the way up at this old high here in a little bit if we can, really get the volume to pop this downtrend right on up. So it's trying to stay alive. It's doing its best to stay alive. If it does start getting weaker, sit back, stay away from it. If you go underneath the yellow line, it's definitely not worth your time. But right now, it's a little bit of a battle. Just on my first trade, tried to get out with $450 in profit, but the spread basically just went, whoop, take away my gains. Right now, traders, it's still pretty solid here. Still pretty solid. Looking to be able to see, can we be able to break on up? Still pretty solid. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. You guys can see today's already a little bit tough already. But a little bit tough already. But you guys can see this is my entry January 16th, 4,765. 5 contracts. Switching over, doing market orders. And we'll be all set, ready to go if I do want to pull the trigger on this play. Idea of it is we are breaking a downtrend. Breaking the downtrend brings in hype. Now, downtrends and uptrends are extremely important. So, for instance, you guys can see this is a trend line. When you have an uptrend, you're bullish. Once you crack to the bearish side, you get a sell-off. You guys can see right here, you are bullish. You crack to the bearish side, you get a sell-off. You guys can see right here, you are bullish. You crack to the bearish side, you get a sell-off. You guys can see we're bullish. We crack to the bearish side, we get a sell-off. You guys can see we're bullish. We crack to the bearish side, same thing, we get a sell-off. So you guys can see where we're at this moment, doing everything at this time to stay alive. right, team. Let's see here. Let's see at this moment. We still have S&P 500, guys. We might get that little pop here soon. We might get that little pop here soon. Stay ready on SPX on calls. It's on the verge of getting that like pop and that explosion that I want to see. A couple good solid green candles can really let this thing loose. Couple solid green candles could really let this thing loose here because we are on the bullish side. If we start getting that little pop, we could easily break on up. That's what we want to see. We want to see that break on up, start ripping, start running, go all the way on up towards like 4,775. Traders are ready to let this thing fly here. We're going to have a little resistance at around like when the SPY is up at 480. 480 is going to be a little bit of resistance on us, but we are going from the bearish side to the bullish side. That's what this is. Bearish side, bullish side. Bearish side, bullish side. This is the pattern for buyers to come in right now. We just touched the downtrend and now to get that next leg. So I am getting ready for another possible entry to see can we be able to squeeze on up towards, again, 475 plus and actually get that rip and run. 475, definitely a strong resistance line. If you can get above it, things are going to be very solid. If you can't get above 475, this is where on the SPY, where we're going to get a very big pullback. So notice the SPY's at 475. If you can't get above 475, we're going to get a big pullback and it's going to fall probably all the way back on down towards this yellow line until we build some sort of higher lows. But if we can break 475, that's where we could, start squeezing and start moving ourselves in a good fashion. Guys, we're trying to get it here. Trying to get it here. Notice it's trying. It's trying. Back above 475. Still watching the SPYs level 2 as well. Watching the SPYs level 2 to make sure that this is going to start, squeezing on up and getting that break of 475. You don't want to go underneath 475. You want to break 475, start running, start ripping. Looks like it's starting to do it right here. You guys can take a look over on the SPY chart as well. SPY chart starting to build. So guys, things are looking pretty good at this moment. Man, guys, if you guys are in right now, you guys can see pretty nice. Let's see if we get a little pullback potentially. But things are looking pretty solid for that little move on up here. Little pullback. It looks like things are still good. It looks like the SPY might try to rip and run all the way up towards what area? That 475.87 mark plus. So you guys can see, this is what I want to be in right now. I don't want to chase this, but this is what I want to be in. Guys, look at it. It's so good. It's so good right now. Breaking from the bearish side to the bullish side. Look at it break from the bearish side to the bullish side here. It's doing exactly what I want it to here. So that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Going from the bearish side to the bullish side, breaking this line. Now what we would like to see, if you guys are missing this play right now, and you guys are saying, oh, dang, I'm missing this play on this moment. We are going to most likely see some sort of pullback, and we will see like some sort of new higher low. I do think you will get a big pullback. I do think you will get a big drop. I do think it is going to get some sort of fade all the way back on down. Wait for another higher low to form. So if you just nailed that trade, hey, great job, great work. But you're going to get some sort of pullback where we're going to get some sort of new higher low. Okay? So we'll get some sort of new higher low, and when we do get that higher low, it could be that like 47.50, something like that. That's going to be like the confirmation that we are building on up here, and that's going to be nice. So I like the ideas here, traders. All we need is that one trade. Jake, I love watching your stream. I only tune in, though, after I'm done trading for the day. I assume you stream every day on Tradecaster. Every single day. We're live on Tradecaster.com. Waking on up. Go on over to Tradecaster. Right? This is the beautiful thing, guys. Over on Tradecaster.com, when you guys become members over on Tradecaster, you guys have access to all of our absolutely incredible facilities. We house you guys, feed you guys, give you guys back massages. We make sure that you guys are all set, ready to go when you guys are part of Tradecaster. So we have members here that are constantly in the weight room, constantly in the spa area, making sure that they are all relaxed and feeling healthy and good. We have yoga classes with Claire. We have cooking classes with Enrique. We make sure that you guys have a full experience. It's almost like a country club, but just imagine, think about the most expensive country club you know that you can even think of. Now quadruple that. That's what Tradecaster is all about. Okay? So if you guys are interested in applying to be even part of this community, sign on up to a free 7-day pass and you'll be all set, ready to go. Hey, hats coming next week. Hats coming next week. We're excited about it. Getting some Tradecaster hats coming in next week. Traders, here comes a pullback. Watch this. A little drop. A little drop and pullback. It's going to be like something like, it's going to be something like this. Like something right around that area. I'm not going to know exactly where it is, but I'm going to assume it's going to be somewhere right around like 4,760. Let's see if I can figure it out. 4,760 area. There's a nice pullback. There's a nice little drop. Call contracts, 4,760 area. And this is just a trend line that I just threw in. If it keeps getting even weaker, it could bounce off of what? Bounce off of the old downtrend. So let's actually delete this line. This old downtrend here, team, this is most likely where the bounce is going to be at. I'm going to be stand corrected. So take a look here. We have this. Everyone take a look. This is pretty interesting. We can see we have top resistance, top resistance, top resistance, top resistance. We just broke out of this yellow line. We spiked on up. Now, as we dump on down, this old resistance line is now going to turn into support. So if we have top resistance, top resistance, top resistance, and we break it, now this line is going to turn into support. So when you see a candle come back down and touch this yellow line, that's going to be the next best entry over on this play. So that right here is going to be down towards the price of 4,758. So now let's get our contracts. 4,700. I'm going to put myself 55, put myself slightly in the money. 5 contracts. Ready to go on a market order. And let's see if this thing does get that pullback that I want to see. We can pull the trigger, start making some cash, start making some money here. So I've only had one trade today. Made $0, broke even. I want to see if this thing can come on down, get a nice little bounce play, start building itself on up here again. Stock Medic saying contracts are acting weird for me today. On the spread, contracts is really bad. The P&L, it'll be moving my right way, and I'm still not making money. Let me ask the chat here, team. Is anyone else facing that? Is anyone else facing that? Deck, I did calls, and even when the SPY or SPX moved on up, I was still in the red. Is anyone saying, Deck, I did puts, and even when the SPY started moving on down, I was still in the red? So is anyone kind of correct with their thought process, but still in the red? So a couple people saying that here today, that they're kind of having that little trouble there. So be careful when you come across that, guys. Definitely. Guys, we do have the SPY right now coming back on up towards 475. Got close to that bounce. Did not get the perfect bounce, but got close to that bounce here. You can see what we do have at this moment is, let's connect the dots, and we can see we are starting to build this higher low setup. That would be the higher low setup. Let's also start building this. We always want to be building, guys. We're basically like builders in here. We now have a new channel pattern. So as you guys can see, we have a few things going on here. All right, let's kind of break this down. We got a few things that are happening at this moment. Might confuse some traders, so let's make it easy. First things first, we started with the initial downtrend. We broke that initial downtrend, spiked up to a high. After we broke that initial downtrend, spiked up to a high, we're going to mark that as resistance. Now it comes back on down, found support near the old downtrend, which is now holding up as support, and we just bounced back on up. We're connecting the dots to build a lower high, which gets a new downtrend, and now we're inside of a channel. So there's a lot going on at this moment. I know that. There's a lot happening at this time, but what are we really looking for? There's two different things that we could really be watching and looking for. Number one, we can look for a break of the new downtrend. If we can start breaking this new downtrend, we might actually see a couple big green candles and actually start spiking on up. If we start falling on down towards the new channel, the new uptrend, that could be a nice dip buy. Now, if we cannot break that new channel right here, this new uptrend, and if we cannot stay above this new uptrend, we're probably going to fall all the way back on down towards lows. So if we cannot break this yellow line right here, and we cannot hold above this line right here, we're probably going to fall all the way back down towards lows. So we have a few things that are just trying to hold us on up here today. All right, guys, a little potential squeeze. 4,765. Let's see here. Let's see here. Potential little squeeze and pop. Potential squeeze and pop coming on up. Zoom in a little bit closer. You guys can see potential little squeeze and pop. Let's see if we can get another candle, confirmation candle above this downtrend. That's what we want, a confirmation candle above this downtrend. Let's go ahead, pull the trigger, and say, all right, hey, let's give this a chance. You know, I'm all about, you know, trying to get myself into the green. I'm all about trying to get myself, you know, making that nice profit, get myself, you know, on these nice gains here. But I want to make sure that I am correct. I don't want to just jump in and hope for the best. Right now, we're staying alive here over on this play. New candle's about to form. New candle forming right now. Starting off with a little bit of a drop, though. Man, I'm not felt, you know, too confident right now just yet. So we're still watching. Come on, squeeze on up. Squeeze on up. You guys can see it's trying to squeeze. It's trying to, you know, break out of this channel. It's trying to break out of this channel. It's trying to get that pop on up. The SPY right now also trying to build here slightly. I'm going to give this a little bit of time. So I'm giving this a little bit of hype, a little bit of attention. Oh, a little bit of a drop right back on down. So team, I mean, I'm staying very conservative right now. Staying very conservative, doing everything that, you know, I want to do here. We are watching and waiting. Here comes a little bit of a drop. We are testing this new resistance line, which we're hoping turns into support. It's probably going to fade all the way back on down, though. Give us a little bit of time. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn up the music. Just give me one moment here. Going to step off the cam here just for a moment.
You are not around, slowly drifting away. Wave after wave, wave after wave, slowly drifting. And it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the wave. Wave after wave, wave after wave, slowly drifting. And it feels like I'm drowning, pulling against the stream, pulling against the.
I know it's hard to admit it that you found love. It's hard to stay in it, but he's better than anyone I've seen you with before. So talk to me, tell me about all your insecurities, and I'm trying to make you.
All right, traders. We are almost on like the last little chance here. Needs to start bouncing. I want the S&P 500. I think today is a day that would everyone here be happy with $500? If we can pull out that everyone walks away with $500 today, would everyone say, okay, yeah, Dek, that's good. Like, yeah, Dek, give me $500 and let's get out of here. I kind of feel like that's where I'm at this moment. I just want to be able to make some gains. I want to be able to make a little bit of money. Trying to figure out where is this thing actually going to get that nice next move. I mean, we have, I'm making this a little bit bigger here. We definitely have this bounce play, bounce play, bounce play. I'm connecting a few different like dots. I'm trying to experiment. I'm trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. You know, just kind of, you know, finding these new wedges here and just kind of going with the flow of things. I know that this is the bottom support line. You guys can see this. This is by far the best bottom support line. Look at this, guys. You guys can clearly see bounce, bounce, bounce. So as of now, everything's looking great for that possible squeeze here still. 4,765, 5 contracts. Can we be able to break out of this? If we get a confirmation candle above, I'm going to give it another chance. So if we get a confirmation candle above, and a confirmation candle is going to happen in about 3 seconds here, I might give this another chance and just jump on in, but we got to stay above that yellow line. We're basically right at the yellow line, and we're starting to get a little bit weaker. We have to start popping on up. I like the downtrend that we're at. I like this little wedge that we're starting to form. I like what we have here, but show me, SPX, that we are going to move. Show me, SPX, that we are going to squeeze. The SPY is holding above 475. Great news. Right now, I'm watching the bids over here as well, 475. Trying to find this play. Let's get, you know, 550 bucks here, team. That's the goal. So close here. Really, target would be get on up towards the VWAP. We break the VWAP, things are amazing, right? The S&P 500 snaps the VWAP, starts breaking. That would be even better. We take a look over on the S&P 500 right here. We can actually get rid of this line, so you guys don't even have to worry about it. So you can really see right now what I'm looking for, okay? We can see as of now, all I'm doing is connecting that high to this high to this high, connecting it to this bottom, to this bottom, to this bottom, and we are getting this wedge pattern which is forming at this moment. This wedge pattern, we're looking to see which way is this wedge going to actually break. Are we going to get enough hype to shoot this thing on up to Mars, or are we going to start cracking back on down? I'm wearing the NASA hat today, guys, because I want to go to the moon. It's a special place. It's a special place. I like to have a little bit of alone time. So let's see here. What's that song that says, it's a special place, I like to be alone. It's a special place, I like to have some fun. Is that a song, or am I making something up here? Good song. Good song. What year did that come on out? 2015? 2016, I want to say. Great year for music. I think maybe 2017. I'm going to go 2017. Love Shack. Come on, Spy. Look at the Spy team starting to crack once again. Spy starting to crack. Spy starting to crack right here at this moment. We're starting to see that weakness, a little bit of a drop. And that could actually lead towards a nice red candle here coming on up. So you guys can see things are starting to get a little bit weaker here. Put contracts might be paying on out here pretty soon. Put contracts, 4,765. 5 contracts at this moment. This thing might start dropping. Let's see. Come on, staying alert on this play. I'm trying to get us, our $500, guys. I'm trying to get us our $500 play here. We do have, again, SPX, it looks like, as like the main play that's going to get a nice dump. It looks like we're going to dump all the way back down to like the low. Guys, I'm giving it a chance. I'm jumping back in on SPX put contracts, 5 contracts here. We are breaking the downtrend. I want to see if this thing gets weak. So we are breaking the downtrend. I want to see if we get weak. I want to see if we fall apart. So I'm giving this one a chance. Let's see if we can crack this, start fading, start dropping, get a nice big red candle, and really just fall apart here. Goal is, again, over $500 on the day here. Guys, we're almost there, 570. Guys, boom. $650. $650 right there, guys. $650 at this moment. Nice little trend line crack. Nice little trend line crack right there. $650 on my day. Did we get that? Are we all good with the put contract right here? We had the wedge pattern. All we did on this play is we saw we had a wedge here. We had a wedge here. We cracked the wedge. We jumped in on put contracts. That's all it is. That's all we did here. We had the wedge pattern. We had the wedge pattern. We had the crack all the way back on down. Zach going for 472 on puts. Oh, Zach, I thought you were on calls the entire time. Zach, I thought you said you were on calls. I'm pretty sure Zach was on calls. I thought Zach was on calls the entire time. Okay. I'm only kidding. I know if I say that, Zach will lose it. Okay? I know Zach has been literally alerting. Going in on put. Get in on put. Put. Guys, get ready for the put. Get ready for the put. I'm only kidding here, buddy. Everyone just... No, I know. Great calling, great alerts. Everyone take 10 steps back from Zach when I say that he was on calls. That guy can throw haymakers, okay? Zach and I went to college together, okay? And one time I liked this one girl. I thought she was attractive. Another kid walked up and started speaking to her. Just started speaking to her. Zach literally walked up, told the guy to get away from him, pushed him out of the way, and the guy jumped on him, and Zach sent him to the hospital. True story. True story. Later on, I walked up to that girl and she said, I'm not interested. So the guy kind of went to the hospital for nothing. She never really liked me to begin with. But Zach's the type of guy that has your back. That's how it was. That's a true story. Right now, we still have this thing getting weaker. Well, guys, I'm happy with my $650. Right now, S&P 500. Guys, look at the SPY starting to get weaker. Guys, SPY getting weaker here, team. SPY falling. SPX falling. All from the crack of that trend line. Now, I will say, probably going to get a double bottom here. Double bottom with a lower shadow here, traders. Probably all the way on down. That would be their next dip buy. I think you got more room to fall. You probably have some more weakness here. Deck, where would you feel comfortable entering? Let me ask you guys. Where would be a great area to enter? What would you guys say? If you want to buy SPY today, if you want to buy SPX today, what would be a great area that you could jump in with confidence? Does anyone know? I would say the greatest area that you can jump in with confidence is when you break the downtrend. When you have this area right here, and you have this area right here, and you have this area right here, and you break this downtrend mark. That's where I think you have the best opportunity to see it probably spike back on up. Now, it might go all the way down to 4,750. It might go all the way down to 4,710. It might go all the way on down towards 4,000. But when you break this downtrend, That's the next opportunity to actually be able to make some cash, be able to make some money. Now, also, I know it seems like the markets are down right now, but they're actually not down that much. Okay? So you guys can see the Dow currently down 188 points. Nasdaq's down 87, no big deal. S&P 500's down 26. Traders, if anyone kind of wants an easy way to understand this, okay? Easy way to understand this right now. Whenever you see the Dow down or up over 500 points, that's a very big day, okay? It happens maybe once to twice a month maybe that you see the Dow the Dow either up 400, 500 points or down 400, 500 points. Now, if you see over 750 points, that is something that is extremely rare. Might happen like once every 6 months. When you see the Dow up over 750 or above 750, right? Either up or down. Now, something that we usually see maybe once a year will be up or down over 1,000 points, where the Dow will be green up 1,000 or Dow will be down 1,000. So one or the other. But really, anything that is like around 250 on the Dow is kind of like a normal day. So when the Dow is up 250 points or down 250 points, it's usually a normal day. When the Dow is above 500 or underneath 500, it's a very big day. Above 750 or under 750, there's something wrong. And above or below 1,000 is when it's probably only like one time a year. So that's just like an easy way to know, is it like really a bad day or not? Case Will says, Deck just paid me $100 in less than 10 seconds. Thank you, Deck. Woo! Shout out to you, buddy. Shout out to you. That is absolutely awesome. Fired on up here. Case Will? Are you Casey Will X? Are you Casey Will X? Case Will? If you are, I hope you're shredding, buddy. I don't know if it's you or not, but if you are Casey Will X, I hope you're having a great time. Roma, Deck, do you think Roma's going to fall for the rest of the day? Roma right here. Yeah, I would say you probably are going to get that VWAP crack. Probably going to get that VWAP crack and then fade all the way back on down. So VWAP crack and then probably fade back on down. SPY, we're going to wait to see if that thing can squeeze. And for anyone who doesn't know, Casey Willax is a professional snowboarder. And shout out to him. He's the man. I talk to him every now and then, but he actually stayed at the Utah crib when he went out there. So very, very cool. And this is obviously where we are staying at when we go out next week. So that's my backyard. That's the backyard right there, guys. Snowbirds on the other side. There's the crib. Woo! So that's where we're going to be trading next week. Or actually 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, that's where we're trading. The pool is closed, though, unfortunately.
Quick dip, or should we wait till after?
But we do got the jacuzzi open. Roma, guys, watch Roma right here. Roma does have that downtrend, and you just want it to keep on cracking all the way on down towards that VWAP area. Creed Pat saying, I literally have no idea what's going on. Did you just make $650? Correct. So I am currently up on the day $650. So if you're saying, Deck, how did I make $650? I bet that once we got to this wedge pattern. So just a little secret, okay? Very easy in case anyone's just randomly exploring the internet and you just found me and you just came across me. A very easy way to make money in the stock market is you always want to be looking for U-shapes or triangles. That's it. So if you want to make money in the stock market, all you have to do is be looking for this. When you see a triangle, when you see a wedge, what it leads to is some sort of dramatic move, either up or down. So let's say that this is the stock right here. We have the stock and we start moving on up, and you realize after a spike, it starts pulling back. Now, as it starts pulling back, it gets a little bit of a bounce play. And then as it spikes on up, it hits an area and starts falling on down. And then as it bounces back on up, you realize you have lower highs. You have lower high here, and you also have higher lows. Every time it comes on down, it bounces a little bit higher than the last time. So it might look like this. But once you start learning what to look for, you'll start getting an eye where you could say, okay, I'm going to connect this high and connect it to this area. And I'm going to connect this high and connect it to that area. And now I'm going to do the same on the opposite side, where I'm going to grab this line and connect it to this one and connect it to this one. And what we have is we have all this volume. We have all these traders right now waiting to see which way is this going to explode. So almost imagine it as like water pressure. If you have this huge body of water and you filter it into a little tiny creek, that water pressure is insane. You start having whitewater rapids. You have all this, absolutely crazy stuff because all that pressure is in that little tiny area. It's like shooting a little like water pistol, right? So what do we have here? When we eventually get to the corner of the triangle, all this pressure is built up. All this volume right here is built up that it has to go in one way or another. And if we start seeing it go underneath, we usually start seeing a very big dump. If we start seeing it go above, we usually start seeing a very big breakout. So if you're asking me, how did I just make money on my last trade? Take a look at what I saw here, right? We can scroll on back and you guys can see, I'm going to take a screenshot of this play. All I did was connect the dots over on this trade. So here's the trade right here. I can see that we do have an old top. I connected a dot. Oh, let me grab this and what color you can see. Here's an old top, connected a dot. 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 That would be a downtrend. But I also see here's a bottom, here's a bottom, here's a bottom, here's a bottom. There's an uptrend. What do you guys realize? As you get to the corner, this has to go somewhere. It flushed on down. So how did I make my money on this trade? All I did was say, all right, guys, if we start flushing underneath this, I'm going to jump in. I jumped in on SPX January 6th put contracts. Put contracts means I am betting it's going to fall. It fell. I was able to make $650. So that's all I did. Very simple, easy, straightforward, no confusion. Just wanted to kind of review that, make sure that you guys understand that. So that's how I was able to make my money here today. So we're all ready here. Rock trades, yep. Roma, I do think Roma is going to have a great chance to fall throughout the day. Thomas, send the link to that video here. If you want to watch that snowboarding video, you can watch it there. Calvin, will you be live streaming during the ski trip? I will not be. During the ski trip is also when we have all of our new live streamers coming. But during the ski seminar, the ski mastermind, it's going to be in person just for those in-person people. So I will not be live for that, 4-day stretch, Tuesday until Friday. So I will not be live Tuesday to Friday of not next week, the following week, as I will be again with traders only that are there. But we will also be having all of our live streamers over on Tradecaster. So you will have over 30 options of streamers that you guys can be able to watch from. And I also think it's a good idea to have them streaming when I'm not available, so you guys can be able to learn and watch from other new streamers and mentors as well over on Tradecaster. So that's going to be a lot of fun and really awesome. But for that 4-day stretch, I will not be live streaming because I will be in person trading with everyone that'll be there. Here, ready, Deck, where can I get a camera like yours? Most computers have cameras built in, but honestly, if you want to have like a webcam so that you can record yourself trading, which I think is the greatest way for you to learn how to trade stocks. Right, team, I've talked about this a million times. The greatest way for you to learn how to trade stocks is to record yourself trading. Most computers already have webcams built in, but you can buy a webcam, download OBS Studio, and then just record yourself. Do you know how athletes get better? They record themselves. So for me, I love golfing. A lot of athletes record their golf swing. They figure out what they can do right, what they can do wrong. A lot of quarterbacks record their games. They see where did they miss a man? What was the coverage? A lot of basketball players record their shot. What could they do right? Could they keep their elbow in? Could they have follow through? Same exact thing with stock trading. We might think we are doing something correct. But when we watch ourselves later on, we say, ew, what are we thinking? That was way off. So even before I started ever live streaming, I would record myself trade and just talk to myself out loud. I would have a mic, I download OBS, I record my screen, I watch myself trade, and then I watch it later on in the night and I say, man, what was I thinking? What was I doing? And it's hurtful to watch, but it's just for you. It's just for you to get better. It's for you to be able to say, why did I do that? Right? And you'll be so surprised. When you go through a loss, you'll say, what was I thinking? And you'll remember that for next trade. You'll remember that for next time. Right? And that's the whole point on why we record everything we do. So most computers already have webcams built in, but you literally could just go over to Amazon and just purchase a webcam. So the webcam that I use is this one right here, which isn't expensive at all, $60. So this is the webcam that I use. So that's not me though. This guy's not me. And that guy's not me either. But that's the one that I use. Right now, we're still watching these plays. Dimpy is back. Hello from the firehouse. Shout out to you, Dimpy. Shout out to you, Dimpy. Shout out to Sean Coughlin, Chris Coughlin, Mike Coughlin. Shout out to Dimpy. Over in the New York Fire Department, probably again sitting back right now. Just won a ping pong game, 21-18. It was close. And now him and all his friends are sliding up and down the pole, putting on their boots real quick. Am I right? Right now, Roma starting to get a little bit weaker. Roma could fall back down to $5 today. $5 is the main support line over on that play. Guys, S&P 500. Let's continue to keep our eyes peeled on it. Creed Pat Deck, I know you get the slot, but do you have any sort of tips for someone who starts trading for the first time? Greatest tip I can give you. Come on over to tradecaster.com. You come over to Tradecaster, we literally have a 200-hour video library that teaches you everything you need to know. 2023 Bootcamp, how to read a level 2, how to short, how to have entries and exits, candlesticks, how to know about them, what are the best indicators and how indicators work, how to be able to trade options, different strategies. We literally have it all right here. So if you actually are serious about trading, come on over to tradecaster.com, be able to enjoy all, again, our education so that you're all set, ready to go. Now, let's get back over towards this here team because it looks like we actually might get a little bit more action here coming on up. Let me bring over SPX here again. Guys, SPX, we might get a little bit of a squeeze, and the play would be break of the yellow line, run on up towards the old uptrend. That would be the target. Basically, break this line, run on up towards the new target. You want to switch over to call contracts. SPX, January 16th. It would be 4,760, which would be the option that you would want. I always like to do probably 5 contracts at a time. So you got SPX, call contracts, 5 contracts, switch on over January 16th, 4,760. Entry would be if you break this downtrend. Break this downtrend, watch for buyers to move on through. That'll be a break of like 4,760. Wait for a confirmation candle above this area, and let's see if this thing can be able to push and rip and run and keep on going. So it's a good idea so far, but we got to see if it's going to be able to convert, if it's going to actually be able to work on out. So we can kind of zoom in a little bit right here. Throw that over in the bottom right-hand corner. Just be ready to rock and roll in case that starts making us some money. Rock trades odds that Roma goes underneath $5. It could easily happen, but it probably just won't be until later. You know, so it's just, I can't tell the future, unfortunately. It's a new IPO play. There's a great chance it will fall underneath $5 in the upcoming days. But, you know, it's just $5 is a very strong support line. NVDA still, again, near these lows here. Can we ever see this? I mean, even NVDA, it's got a nice downtrend area. Nice big downtrend. NVDA, do we have any sort of higher lows that are trying to build? I mean, could this be, you know, like NVDA? Right now, it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game, team, to basically have everything come on up. We might get a little bit of a drop. We might go all the way down towards the low of the day. You guys can see right now, might have to form a double bottom, break of that yellow line is where buyers start moving on in. Break of that yellow line is where buyers start moving on in. Probably is going to happen, I would say, during lunchtime. So, traders, I just want to go over this game plan one more time here because I don't want anyone to miss it, okay? Right now, copy what I have over on this chart. I am looking at SPX. This right now, I can see we have an old top, an old top, an old top, and I would look for calls if you guys can break this downtrend. Now, this downtrend most likely won't break until mid-lunch hours. This could be 12, 12:30, 12:45. We are hitting a bottom right now at this moment. So you guys can see we are right next to this bottom area here. We basically drag this on out a little bit larger. I'm going to get rid of this. So we are right next to this bottom area, right? We have double bottom or bottom here. Here's the double bottom. We are looking for a little bounce play off this mark, okay? Bounce, bounce, bounce. Break of this yellow line, bulls will come back in. It'll run until we hit this yellow line right here, which was the uptrend before it cracked and started selling on off. If we start getting weaker and lower, we can't touch it. You want to look for some sort of bounce play, or you want to look for some sort of calls, you're going to have the best chance to look for some sort of scalping calls at the break of the downtrend. Okay, so that's all this is right now. Okay, we're just trying to be as smart as we can, be patient, wait for it. But if we do not break this yellow line, it's going to crack the gray line and go even lower. And if that happens, then, you know, it's probably not going to be a great, you know, position here today. So you can actually see NVDA is getting weaker at this time. NVDA is starting to drop on down. NVDA is still getting fading here. Right now, NVDA here, still watching. Johnny, I know, you are right. We got to get some wheel spins in here. Johnny, how about guaranteed wheel spin tomorrow? Johnny, does that sound good, bud? Guaranteed spinning the wheel tomorrow morning. Let's do it, Johnny. I appreciate it. Let's get after it. Right now, NVDA still watching. Still waiting for that movement here, team. Still waiting for that movement. Still waiting for that hype. Give us a little bit of something. Give us a little bit of something here. Tomorrow is Friday as well. This kind of week, I feel like kind of flew by. You know, I'm having a lot of fun trading, a lot of success trading. Also, a little heads on up. We do have a brand new podcast today coming on out. Maybe a Twitter guy that you guys know, very young. He's only like 18 years old, PB Investing. So he actually flew out near me, and we got a couple podcasting together. So I'm going to be posting one of those podcasts tonight on my YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check that on out if you guys haven't. So NVDA is still watching. Let's see this. Let's see if we can. Which way do you guys think this is going to break? Do you guys think we're going to crack on down towards new lows, or do you guys think we are going to break through that yellow line? I think we will break through the yellow line, but we're going to crack lower first. I think we're going to crack lower even first. So I do see us cracking lower first. I do see us getting a little bit weaker here first. There's the crack. Guys, there's the crack. SPX cracking. SPY probably cracking as well then. Guys, there's the crack. There's the new low. There's the drop. Man. Big crack so far. We're still falling. Look at this candle. This thing is big. 4,746. Next possible dip buy. If you want to get a little risky, 4,746 area Next potential dip buy, 4,746. Next potential dip. That does have a ton of support here, ton of support here, ton of support right here. That would be a nice little area if you are interested on pulling the trigger over on SPX. Zoom in very, very close on that. But you could look for an SPX, maybe small contract, 4,745. But there was that sell-off. There was that drop there. I might do a small entry here, team. Might do a small entry. If we come on down towards that 4,745 mark, we start getting even lower. So we're getting lower and lower and lower. Guys, we're still dropping. Still dropping. Still getting weaker. There's that 4,746 mark. So there's that drop. Let's see if we get even a little bit lower. I might pull the trigger here soon on some small shares and see this thing, kind of pop back on up. Just try to make like $100, $200. That would be the goal. Just try to make a couple bucks here. Still going lower. Still going lower here. Guys, pulling the trigger right here. Pulling the trigger. Pulling the trigger on a call. Call contract, pulling the trigger, seeing if we can get a bounce. Gonna look to make like 200 bucks if I can. If I can make 200 bucks, I'll be a happy camper here. Let's see if we get a bounce play. Let's see if we can bounce right back on up out of this thing. Start getting a little bit of movement towards the upside. And if I can make, 200 bucks, I'm just going to lock that in and kind of, be happy with it. If it keeps on falling, don't want to risk, again, taking any sort of unnecessary loss. I only got, again, 5 contracts on this play. It's trying to hold. It's trying to stay alive right here. The SPY did just have a nice pullback, and we're looking for that bounce back on up and basically say, all right, hey, we just found our support line. So are we going to be able to get that dip buy, that bounce play, that move on up here, traders? Still getting a little bit weaker. Little bit weaker here, team. Watching this closely. Because I do think we will get a green candle right back up. We just basically had red candle, red candle, red candle. And gotta be careful on this. Don't want to take any sort of a large loss. I'm fingers ready to sell. Can we get that, bounce? Come on, give us that green candle bounce. Give us that green candle bounce play here. Give us that green candle bounce here. Down 325 here for the moment. 275. Are we going to get it? Guys starting to try to get that bounce back on up. I want to get a little bounce back on up. Make 200 bucks out of it. That's it. Make 200 bucks. Put myself up like almost $1,000 on the day. We just had a massive sell-off. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of that bounce play back on up if we can. Give us that little green candle. Give us a little green candle here. Give us a little green candle here. Taking a look at the SPY. SPY, give us that little green candle back on up. Give us that, we just had that nice sell-off. Give us that little green candle back on up here, SPY. Right now, we are ready to go on this thing. Here we go. Let's get a little pop here. Let's get a little pop right here. Let's get a little pop right here. Get us back into the green. Down 250, 475. Close, 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 close. I want to make sure that this thing goes here. If this thing doesn't go here within the next, I'm going to say 60 seconds, I'm going to get out. If it doesn't spike within the next 60 seconds, I'm going to move on from it. But, I want to give it a chance. We just had a little bit of a sell-off. Going to give this about 60 seconds to pop on up. We got a little bit of higher lows, which I like. Little bit of higher lows. We got to see the S&P 500 kind of move here a little bit, though. Down 275, 275 here, 276. Here we go. Should get the pop here. Should get the pop here, team. I'm only doing 5 contracts as well. I'm not doing anything ginormous that's going to scare me off and hurt me. So I'm not doing anything that's going to scare me off, hurt me in any sort of way. Looking to see, can we get that bounce play on up? Nope, getting weaker, guys. Getting weaker. I'm getting out. I'm going to get out here, stay green on the day. All right, I'm going to get out, stay green, stay up 300 bucks on the day. Try to get a little risky there. Try to get a little cute there. Not going to risk, losing everything and going into the red on the day. Still, the ultimate game plan would be wait until we break that yellow line here. So I tried to get that little tiny green candle. Not worth it. Don't want to, again, go into the red on the day. So going to still walk away with over $300 in profit. $300 day so far. And I most likely will look for a trade later on today. But Not gonna do it right now. Not gonna do it right now if things are not doing exactly what I want and putting myself into green positions. So I do have a win of 650 bucks. I do have a loss of 350 bucks. We are still looking for that dip buy and bounce play, but I think the best and smartest one is going to be just wait for that yellow line to break. Once this yellow line breaks, guys, that'll be the easiest way to know how to make money. Now, yes, we are getting a little bit of a dip buy right now, as you guys can tell, in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm not going to force it. Now, they're also a little heads on up. If you're saying, Deck, why'd you go small on that play? Because I didn't want to lose a lot. The last thing I ever wanted to do was be up 650 and then be down 200. That's not what I want to do. So when in doubt, up $300, I'm still happy with that. And I know I can get another trade later on today when we do break this downtrend. So rather be smart, walk away a winner. All right, team. Well, as of now, I think I am good to go until probably mid-lunch hours. Mid-lunch hours, traders, probably is where I'm going to say to myself, hey, that's the next best chance to be able to break on out. That's the next best chance for me to be able to make some money. And I'm letting everyone know my game plan right now. As we move into lunch hours, the game plan is simple as this. We have our massive downtrend. When we break that downtrend area all the way up here, you want to look for an entry. When you break that area, we have all this room to spike up towards this old uptrend, which will now hold up as resistance. We do have the SPY finally getting a little bit of a dip buy. The SPY or the SPX finally getting that dip buy. You guys can see we are starting to move back on up here. I was a little bit early into the game there. I was a little bit early. The idea was correct. You guys can see it is starting to move right now. So I was correct with the idea, but I still think a little bit early. I'm going to give it some time, wait for the yellow line to break. All right. Traders, ladies and gentlemen, everyone who joined us over on YouTube today, I hope you guys had a fantastic day. I hope you guys had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys were able to come out in the green. It was a little iffy today. We didn't see a whole bunch of clear, easy trades, but we were able to make some good money, over $300. And on top of that, team, we are getting ready for a possible trade coming up in about like 30 to 40 minutes. Team, as always, thank you so much for everyone who has joined us on this day. Thank you so much for everyone who's part of this team over on Tradecaster. Shout out to our members. Shout out to all these amazing live streamers that are starting up their lunch hour live streams right now. And I will see everyone back here bright and early, starting on up probably this afternoon. All right, so I'll see you guys over on Tradecaster this afternoon, or if I do jump in over on that SPX trade, I just want to tell everyone what I will be doing. So if you guys go to a different stream, if you guys are on YouTube and can't watch me later on, that is what I'm looking for coming on up. Okay? Hey, team, thank you so much for everyone who has joined us. Help me wrap this thing on up. You guys know the drill, baby. Let's do it, team, in 3, 2, 1. Ahoo! I love you guys. I'll see you guys later. You guys are fantastic. Enjoy lunch hour streams. Woo!
Is honestly the best.
I love Tradecaster.
Happy Saturday, everybody. Just a friendly reminder. Over the past 12 months, how much money did you make day trading using your strategy? $551,000.
That kind of money, it's like you know what you're doing.
Sean knows his stuff.
So this is exactly how I did it.
Perfect.
I want everyone to go trade. Go! Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Anything else?
It wasn't pleasant. That was during lunch hours.
Take some pictures.
Now we're up $1,200! We got some action right here. $2,000, $760. If I tell you how I was able to do this, go out and make that money, make a killing. Can we start getting ourselves in the green somehow? Get it, people! A Botso man making HUDI $1,000. Ollie with a $327 trade. Boom, guys. $989 profit. $2,600. Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Oh, baby! You guys want to see something good today? We're bringing